Well, Xbox Game Pass is changing, and it feels like just the beginning. Some of these changes are sort of foreseen, like price increases. All sub-services are having to go through some measure of a price increase. But the real change to Game Pass is maybe a little more subtle, with day and date essentially moving to the ultimate tier. And to me, this is something not only that we predicted on a previous show, I did with Kirk with What's New Video Games. I've also done my own shows on Game Pass, and I continue to say that I really felt like day and date was going to be reserved for ultimate only, and that they would raise the price, maybe even do a tier beyond ultimate. Now, the tier beyond ultimate has not happened, but they have increased the price of ultimate up to $19.99, which many of us thought it's going to land around $20, maybe $25. It is landing at $20, and that is where all new customers will have to go if they want day and date releases like Call of Duty. These changes are rolling out just before Call of Duty launches in October. Probably not a coincidence, being that was one of the bigger announcements at the Xbox Showcase, was that Black Ops 6 would be the first Call of Duty to land on Game Pass day and date. And I think Xbox was likely anticipating many people signing up for Game Pass and potentially doing what I've always called churn and burn, which is where you sign up for a month and then you cancel and you get your time out of the game or the campaign or what have you. So what they're doing is they're introducing something called Xbox Game Pass Standard. This new tier will be $14.99. It will include the Game Pass library. And according to Windows Central's Jez Corden, these first-party games that won't be landing day and date on the Game Pass Standard tier, they will be coming case-by-case basis, likely between 6 and 12 months. I would lean closer to it being 12 months because they are going to want people to either buy these games or sign up for Ultimate. With Ultimate being at $20, they're probably hoping that you would sign up and maybe make a mistake and forget to cancel, or you like it so much you stay on. Now, PC Game Pass is going up from $9.99 to $11.99, but it's not losing anything. That's causing some frustration with people on console. Console continues to feel deprioritized. It seems that they're still potentially trying to get new customers onto Game Pass on PC. Phil has all but said that that's where they see the chance for growth is on PC. He did an interview once where he said that, they've pretty much plateaued with console subscribers and they see PC being a bigger landscape for growth, which that is likely why they're retaining the day and date on the PC version. But I see this as just the beginning. And the reason I see this as just the beginning is they're really changing the core of the brand of Xbox. And they continue to say things like, hey, you don't need a console. They want everybody to either get on Game Pass or get on cloud or just buy the games wherever they land. And a lot of these predictions are ones that myself and others have made. Now, some of those predictions were very easy to make. I think the entire industry was saying, hey, prices are going to go up on subs. That's just happening across the board. Sub services in general are not in a great spot, whether you're Disney Plus or the rest. So a price increase isn't really shocking. I think what really shocked people is a core identity piece of Game Pass shifting to the highest tier. And this is for people who sign up. And they're also not letting you stack as much. I'm trying to get all of the details while I was out of town on vacation. They're also not letting people stack as many months. I don't think they want you to do what people were doing in the past where you could, you stack for like years and years and years. So I didn't put together a formal upload about this, didn't have time, got back into town yesterday. I thought I would just kind of kick off the show, give a quick flyover, kind of give my thoughts. It's like we kind of saw this coming, continue to say that, day and date was going to pose a problem when you have big property like Call of Duty hitting the surface on its launch date. And these things have come to fruition, and they came to fruition a little bit faster than many people were probably expecting, not just the price increase, but I think the adjustments to day and date. So you know what I think now, and now it's time to hear what you think. Guys, go through the ritual. I know you missed the shows for a week. I missed doing the shows for a week, but we've got a bunch of great news for you. We already have 26 members on the count. I already owe you 5, and the reason for this is we did Morning Coffee. Morning Coffee is a segment with members, and we were hanging out this morning for about a half an hour before the show. So if you're a member, start tuning in around 9 o'clock AM Eastern. We do that before the upload or before the live shows. and we just kind of hang out with you guys and talk. And all member renewals at a member plus or higher, we're counting in this total. The people that are jumping out of the gifted pool, paying for their own membership, it makes sense that those should count. You're supporting the channel directly, only counting the gifted members for this daily goal. For the weekly goals didn't seem to make much sense. But because we're doing this, we're going to set the goal for the week a little higher than typical, because we're going to see if this can kind of get us to higher thresholds of support, because you guys support us every week so much and every month so much with those gifteds. And let's see if we can have that big bounce back. And Risick is going to come in with 34 months of membership, says welcome back, more great content and conversation. Thank you so much, bumping the line to 27. I appreciate it so much, Risick. And the other really cool announcement is, you might notice behind me, that is a bag of Frickmas. We're doing Frickmas in July, and we have a limited run of the Frickmas blend. So those of you that like the coffee and like the Frickmas, it's available for 2 weeks only. August the 2nd, it will no longer be available. And ReforgeRoast.com is back. We had it down for a couple, like about a month and a half for maintenance. We were moving away from Shopify. We did not like what we got out of them. They offered us a bunch of great features, and none of the features worked. So we're housing it ourselves now, and I think this actually looks better than the default pages. I think Creature did an amazing job. So go to ReforgeRoast.com, and we actually have the triple threat at its lowest price that it's ever been. If you want to try all 3 flavors of coffee, $48 gets you all 3, a bag of each. So head on over there to ReforgeRoast.com. Frickmas in July. Get your bags of Frickmas before they run out. And then John always renews. Face 2012 renews, Danny renews, and Dodeva renews. Let's see what that is. That's 1, 2, 3. That's 4 members, taking us to 31. And then a 5-bomb comes in and takes us to 36. Thank you so much, Dodevas. Always so faithful, gifting members right after he renews. I'm going to do the 5 that I now owe you guys. Thank you so much for the support directly to the channel, and don't forget all those great member incentives. And if we hit, we're going to set the goal this week for 500. If we get 500 members, that includes renewals of member pluses and up. If we can hit that before Friday, I'll play a scary game on Friday night. You guys like watching those scary games, and we'll do stretch goals, and Madam can mess with me and all of that. So I'm curious what you guys think about this Game Pass thing, now that the housekeeping's kind of out of the way. I was out of town for a week, so it's kind of needed. Jay Hart with a $5 super chat says, Game Pass Standard isn't available right now, but neither is the old console tier. Thank you so much for the 5 spot. And Raijin with 34 months. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure are you informing me? Is that like a glitch or something? Is that a bug, or is that supposed to be happening? As far as I can tell, Microsoft, this was probably negotiated. You guys remember my theory? My theory was that Phil Spencer walked in the room and was like, you gotta let me put Call of Duty on Game Pass. It's like, we can't buy Activision Blizzard and not do that. He's like, you're going to kill us. You're going to kill our brand our value proposition. A 5 spot from P-Dub H-Town takes us to 41. Thank you so much, P-Dub H-Town. Appreciate you guys so much, constantly supporting the channel with that direct support. Member plus renewals and gifteds all count in the total now, so thank you for that. I really do. It's like, once you start putting your games on other platforms, and while I was gone, all this happens while I'm gone, of course. While I was gone, we had some people say that according to what they have heard, some even bigger titles are headed to PlayStation. Starfield being one of those titles, which we'll obviously take our victory lap when that happens, given all the hate that was thrown my way for saying that I had heard that was happening. But Joker Quinn, gifts a member, thank you so much. We'll take our just due victory lap when that happens. But the point is that I argued that, or I theorized that Phil Spencer said, listen, if we're going to start putting our first-party games on other platforms, that removes exclusivity as an idea from our vocabulary, from our marketing, all of that. He's like, okay, you can't take away putting games on Game Pass. You can't. We've got to be able to put Call of Duty on Game Pass. And in this negotiation that I'm theorizing happened, I think they said, well, then you got to change how it works. You got to change the tiers. You can't have people signing up for $10 and then canceling so they can play the biggest release of the year. That we can't have that. And then PWH down with 12 months on Member Plus. Welcome back, bro. The price increase was expected, but what's shocking is the constant disregard for the Xbox console crowd. Bumping it to 43 here. Yeah, I said something similar in my very brief show open. I said, listen, you know, the console crowd feels once again deprioritized. They're bumping PC Game Pass by like $2, and PC Game Pass gets to retain day and date. And what's interesting is I feel like we've read this stat. I don't know if this has been confirmed, but I feel like we've read the stat that there are more people on PC Game Pass. Phil Spencer said there's more opportunities for growth for PC Game Pass. They pretty much have plateaued with console Game Pass. So if you're on console, you once again just sort of feel like, hey, wait, what's the deal here? What do we get? You get a price increase on Ultimate. If you're new, you got to go to Ultimate. If you're not new and you constantly were bouncing off of Game Pass, now you got to spend more, which it's still a great deal. None of this means that Game Pass isn't a great deal. I don't want to convey that. I still think it's a great deal. The Ultimate for $20, if you're getting games like freaking Call of Duty and you're playing the games that land every month, it's still an amazing deal. But it's a fundamental shift in the identity of Game Pass. You can't walk out and say, play it day one on Game Pass anymore. All their marketing at the Xbox showcase is now muddled and confusing. Play it day one on Game Pass Ultimate or PC. It's like, that's not the same as saying play it day one on Game Pass. They asked if you'd rather be stuck in the woods with the bear or a console, and everybody chose bear. Of course, console's going to feel bad. Console tier is dead. It being turned into standard with no day one. People with console tier get to stay on as long as they don't lapse, but they didn't say how long they would be grandfathered in. Homie, I'm going to make a prediction. It's only a matter of time before they don't let those people stay on that tier. I don't know what they're contractually obligated to. I don't know what the legality of it is, but it wouldn't surprise me if within 12 months you're getting an email that says, your tier is being deprecated, and we're just going to roll you over to this tier. That wouldn't shock me at all if they just basically make it to where you can't even stay grandfathered. They're not going to let people stay on that. I mean, maybe they will. Maybe people roll off enough that when they go to jump back in, they're going to be motivated to do Ultimate. I don't know. I don't feel like they're going to let people stay on there indefinitely. Now, there could be legality behind that, but I think eventually they could be like, nope, yeah, we don't have to let you keep this anymore. Oh, grandfather is 12 months, and in your opinion. And Kirk is saying 13 months. They said 13 months after the change. Oh, so literally one more year. They're giving you one more year, and then that's it. Okay. If you're maxed out before the change, then you're good. Oh, so like the people that bought like multiple years? They said 13 months in the announcement. Okay. I want to see the phrasing on that. Is it on Xbox Wire? Game Pass. Changes. Yo, Edward Hulse with a Member Plus. That's 11 months. Almost a 1-year membership in this wonderful community. I'm interested to see how these tier changes will affect new or existing Game Pass subs. Well, they had their greatest amount of new Game Pass subscribers from Starfield, and I said that I thought Black Ops 6 would break the record. I was like, I think more people will sign up for Game Pass for that. Yeah, I think they will. Let's see if he's got it in. Oh, right here. It says, from September 12th, 2024, Microsoft will only allow existing users to stack Game Pass for console up to 13 months using prepaid cards and the like, which will continue to function in perpetuity. If you have more than 13 months stacked already, you won't be impacted. Okay, so what that communicates to me is in 13 months, that they're rolling everybody off of it forcefully. If you haven't stacked more than 13. If you've stacked more than 13, they'll probably just leave you alone. But anybody right now on the old tier is going to get pushed off, I would think, in 13 months. They're just going to be like, yeah, we're rolling you off into this. You can't stay on this one anymore. It's no longer available. They did that with cell phones. I forget how we did that when I worked at AT&T. They would make people get off the certain plans. They wouldn't let you stay there. I think it was like when you'd come to get a new phone, they'd be like, yep, can't keep that plan anymore. Like as soon as you go to upgrade your phone, they would basically boot you off of it. DK Bager gifts a member, takes us to 45 members on the day. Guys, if you upgrade to Member Plus or higher, that counts as well. And every time you renew Member Plus or higher, we've been counting that. We started that today. So thank you guys so much for all that support. I think the Game Pass price increases now has more eyes on it from the FTC and the courts, especially when Microsoft said the FTC, they weren't going to raise the prices immediately. I mean, can somebody get me a link to that article? Wasn't it a VGC article? I told people at the time to read carefully. I was like, they're not saying they're not gonna raise the price. Read what they said. They said it, but then they said they would. I need that article. I want to read that quote. Because everybody was throwing that article around. I was like, yeah, but if you actually go read what they said, I tried to tell people at the time that they're talking out of both sides of their mouth. They said that they wouldn't raise the price of Game Pass, but then they said if they did, it wouldn't be any greater than the value brought by ABK. And I was like, wait, you just, well, huh? How can you say you're not going to, but if you do, it's like, wait. Insomniac Black with 34 months in a VIP. Oh, the boy's back. The internet imploded on so many fronts in your absence. That's how it always goes, dude. That's how it always goes. You know, I go out of town and all the big news drops. 8-Bit Dow with 16 months. Thank you guys so much. That's 2 more renewals that count towards the daily total. Thank you guys so much, man. Already on our way to 50 members. And Share Bruce Lee with 24 months. Microsoft should introduce new Game Pass model with no monthly fee, and you pay to own individual games for a lifetime. Wouldn't that be crazy? You're talking. That sounds insane to me. I don't know. I've never even heard of anything like that. Sheriff Bruce Lee, how are you, dude? Welcome back. 2 whole years. You're supposed to say 1 to 2 years. Lono's back. Balance has been restored in the Force. Welcome back. Thanks for making work bearable again. Yo, David Farias with 2 months. Thank you so much for jumping back in. And I can't count standard members in this count because I can't tell if it's a gifted or not. So if you guys want to count, if you want your member renewal to count every month in this, you got to bump up to Member Plus or higher because we're trying to honor the people who are upgraded and paying for their own. As well as the people who gift. We're basically saying thank you to both. SSJ Gohan with 26 months and a VIP. That bumps the line to 49. Thank you so much. Remember show opens? What's that? What's that click? Game Pass must change. We got a clip here. Fuzzy found a clip from one of my shows. What am I talking about in there? Obviously Game Pass. Let's pull this up and let's watch this. Is this an I told you so? You giving me an I told you so? I mean, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll say I told you so. I got a lot of hate when I said that Day and Date was gonna bump up to Ultimate and they would make it to where you would not be able to keep. All right, hang on. Did that come through? Yes, it is. All right, hang on. I don't know what this is. It's a 52-second clip from Fuzzy. He found a clip of me. All right, let's take a peek here. What am I saying here? Oh, I look drunk. That's a great shot of me. All the salt channels. There you go. There's a thumbnail. It's unavoidable. Subservices will not stay static as they are. And Netflix is a cautionary tale about not adapting to shifts in the market. They might even couple predictable price changes to Game Pass with increases to features and value and perk ads. All of a sudden, Game Trials shows up. Yeah, we raised the price of Game Pass, but we added Game Trials. We added 2-week early access and discount on games. Position it as a value add, and people are going to look a little differently at that price increase. If you look at all the current info and you look at the trends with Game Pass and you think it's just going to remain as is, to me, that's naive and ultimately unlikely. Oh, wow. Whoever that guy is. That guy's smart. He's a smart guy. He's smart. I said that a year ago. Wow. You couple the price increase with perk ads. Well, they did one better. They did one better. Like, we're gonna raise the price, and if you want Day and Date, yeah, it's over here. They basically were like, that's not a bad idea. That Reforge Gaming's got these guys pretty sharp. But I tell you what we should do. I tell you what we should do. We should just move Day and Date with the price increase. Eugene with 34 months on the VIP. Rest in peace to the people who would buy and cancel as needed. And that takes us to 50 on the nose. Yeah, Eugene, I said during the show open, I owe you guys 5 more members. I said during the show open, I said, listen to me now. Meow. They are putting a stop to people signing up for Game Pass. They're putting a stop to you doing that. You just sign up and then, I'm done. They don't want you to do that. If you're going to churn and burn, they're at least going to get $20 out of you. You're going to sign up for Ultimate. And then it's going to be a little bit harder to cancel probably because you're going to get a bunch of perks, right? You're going to get the online. You're going to get all the games. They're hoping probably that you forget or, if you forget two or 3 months, they got a full game out of you. They got $60 out of you. Mike on the mic is the agent of chaos. Yo, welcome back. Thank you so much. Guys, Member Plus is an up. Count towards this total. So Jaggy and JW are also going to count. That takes us to 53. I'll read their messages here in just a second. Rolling us up to the next goal here. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel so directly. Jaggy with 34 months, good to have you back. Zero Steel says it's a precautionary tale. People who aren't bots saw this coming. Also, welcome back. Thank you, Zero Steel. JW, welcome back, my good sir. Hope everyone has a great day. In my opinion, Game Pass has been overrated, and now I don't feel it's worth it. Again, just my opinion, says JW. And Otagon Ocelot jumps back in as a member, and MASH with the 10 bomb. The first big bomb of the day. We had a couple 5s, but MASH comes in, and he ups the ante, and he takes it to 63. Thank you so much, MASH. If you guys got a gifted member from MASH, say thank you, and maybe even consider paying it forward. And if you want your membership to count every month in this total, bump up to Member Plus or above. Did this news give Pactor? Oh my gosh, stop it. You were still streaming on Tick? Oh, I was still streaming on the Tickety Talk over there? Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, there was a time where I streamed over there. That's true. MASH, yeah, the TV show MASH. Recently, I did a showcase. Recently, I did a podcast with Kirk, and we quite literally both said they're going to move day and date to Ultimate. Like, we just said it. We're like, they're not going to keep day and date at these lower tiers. I thought they were going to roll the standard Game Pass and Core like together and give you like an allotment of games. Maybe it would be too difficult to do that. You'd probably upset people. So they're like, no, yeah, you're going to stay on that Game Pass, but if anybody signs up now for that standard, it's like $15 and they don't get day and date. It's a lot like Core. Yo, Paco jumps back in with the VIP, and then Makwai Ninja gifts a member, and that takes us to 65, and then we're going to jump to 66. Thank you so much for renewing. That is Mike. Mike S. says, great to have you back. Hope you had a great vacation. Thank you so much. You thought it would be more, Brooklyn, price-wise? Well, I mean, let's be honest about something. This isn't the last price increase. It wouldn't surprise me at all if, like, this time next year, they're bumping Ultimates to $24.99. They're just going to keep doing it. Right? They're just going to keep doing it. You just keep bumping it because, listen, they're in the business of selling games now. So they don't really care if you cancel because then you have to buy those games that come out. They get you coming and going. You know that, right? You don't have a play here. Oh, well, I'll cancel my Game Pass. Okay. We own some of the biggest property in the dadgum world. That's fine. We'll get money from you eventually. Oh no, you're going to stop giving us $10 a month. Whatever will we do? Oh no. We're in big trouble now. $120 a year. Ooh, what a threat you have. What a threat. Is it Makwai Ninja? Sorry. Excuse me. You have no power here. If you're going to cancel your subscribers, do you want to know why? All you have to do is buy 2 of their games a year, and they made more money off of you. You see what I'm saying? If you buy 2 of their games at $70, they got more money than when you were paying $10 a month. You don't have a play. You'd have to completely boycott all property that they make. That's it. You do have a play. Give up video games and become a bodybuilder. That's true. You could do that. And I don't know if that would have any effect on Xbox. You don't have a play. Like, if you cancel Game Pass and then you buy Call of Duty and you buy one other Microsoft-owned property, they're like, that's fine. Now, obviously, if you get off of Xbox and you go to PlayStation, it takes a few more games because now they're having to do a revenue share with PlayStation. So that's the least amount of money that they would get from you. Like, if you go full bore and you're like, I cancel Game Pass and I'm going to PlayStation, okay, sure. But if you buy, again, even if you buy a handful of games from them in a year, they're still getting money from you. They're getting less money from you, but you know what's? It's probably better money. It's probably more. It's hitting the margins faster because you're buying a game instead of buying a subservice. They want PC users to sign up. Oh, what's the question? Is he asking, like, why do PC players get to keep day one? I'll tell you why. They're still trying to get new customers on PC. Phil Spencer said in an interview that they have basically plateaued. With their subscribers on Game Pass on console, and they see the biggest opportunities for growth on PC and mobile. So they're still trying to get new users on PC. I've told this story before about how when I worked in the cell phone industry, there would be people that would come in with like ancient Nokia phones, and they were curious why nothing was free anymore. And it's like, well, because they've got you now. You're a customer. You need that cell phone. Back when they were trying to convince you to get a cell phone, they gave you everything for free. It's very similar in this situation. They're wanting PC users to say, hey, that Game Pass might be worth it. You got something like Call of Duty coming, right? A lot of people play Call of Duty on PC. So, oh yeah, I might sign up for Game Pass over there. They're trying to still get new users. And because of that, they're retaining that value. Now, eventually, they'll plateau on PC and they'll make changes. That'll take longer. It's a bigger user base than their console user base. Bolton Gaming renews their member plus and takes us to 67. Guys, if you're a member plus or higher, when you renew now, it counts towards our goal. Thank you so much, Bolton Gaming. Currently, PlayStation has 956 active games. Oh, on PlayStation Plus, Game Pass has 556 active games. Yeah, I didn't want to get bogged down into the comparisons between the two. I saw people making those comparisons. Here's why I don't think those comparisons are worth making. The people that are driving that are typically the people who have every single service, every single console, and so they're weighing, the pros and the cons between the two. The lion's share of the consumer base is not in the position where they're like, oh, let me compare which service is better. Now, to their credit, the people pointing out that PS Plus is looking a little bit better right now, okay? I actually think PS Plus is fine. I don't think it's that great. I think it's fine. I like it for the game trials. I feel like they've had some really good games have been getting added that are actually pretty good. But I don't think it's that amazing. I think it's fine. It's an additive subservice if you want it. However, there are people that may look at sheets like that and lists like that and say, well, okay, I'm losing day and date if I sign up for, the $15 Game Pass, which is funny because $15 for Game Pass standard, that's like what Ultimate used to cost. So, like, there you go. That's interesting. Just how fast prices change. So if you're looking at that and you're saying, okay, let me consider what the other side has to offer, it might convince you even more to be like, well, let me just get a PlayStation. Let me get a PlayStation. Let me sign up for PS Plus. Again, I don't know how much consumers are doing that. I don't know if they're actually one-to-one comparing these subservices right now, because most of the people that are upset by this are like really dyed in the wool on Xbox. And this could be the tipping point. I don't know. Have you guys seen people saying they're switching? I wasn't able to pay that much attention. I just knew. I was like, damage control. Everyone's going to say, we knew this was coming, and this is where the industry is headed. And it's like, okay, like none of you knew that they were going to move day and date. You knew price increases were coming, right? RPG with a VIP says, welcome back. Thank you so much for renewing your VIP. That takes us to 68 members on the day. You the best. Picard, you would compare? What's good, Thrifty? How are you? Microsoft blinked first like a man signaling SOS with their eyelids. I don't agree with that. This isn't doomsday. This isn't doomsday. This is what many of us anticipated. They were going to buy ABK. They were going to start functioning more as a publisher, and they would make fundamental changes to Game Pass. Any of us that said this were, I constantly had people in my chat that were like, that'll never happen. They're not going to do that. Just December of last year with people that are like, the first party the games aren't going to other platforms. All those things are happening. I don't think it's doomsday. I think it's a shift. They're just changing their focus as a company and a brand. And one of the things they're being subtle about, this should actually be studied in like a couple of years. I think this would make a good, case study for brand evolution or something like that, in business school. Because what Xbox is doing is they're completely changing the brand and their focus, and yet they're somehow making the marketing seem like nothing is changing. It's actually really, really well done. I have a level of respect for it. If you think about what they did, okay, so they walk out in the summer, and they're like, hey, our showcase is going to be a banger. And they drop big titles, and they march Phil out to say, first time ever, Call of Duty's hitting Game Pass. Confetti in the air. Oh, the brand is solid. The brand has a future. There's more hardware coming, right? And then where are we now? 1 month later, and it's like, well, kind of. It's kind of staying the same. They're being very, very subtle with it. So the brand, as it's evolving, on the surface, think about the average consumer. They don't know any of this stuff's going on. They don't know. They watch a showcase with Phil Spencer, Call of Duty, Doom, and a bunch of other great titles, and they're like, bunch of stuff coming to Game Pass. And then the asterisk comes in. It's like, well, yeah, it's coming day and date to Game Pass if you're on Ultimate after September. They're more focused on the evolution of the brand. Right. And that's why I don't think it's doomsday. I think it's doomsday if like your identity is in Xbox and you've been pounding a podium on your podcast and talking about they're never going to take away day and date. They're never going to put games on other platforms. And like, if that's something that you were doing, then obviously it might feel very doomsday to you because you sort of feel like the rug is getting pulled out from underneath of you. But if to the rest of us that were just doing basic business analysis, it was like, yeah, I mean, this all makes sense. None of this is shocking. None of this is, earth-shattering or, oh, it's time for an existential crisis because this brand that I like is changing. I also think it's easier to accept when I watched the brand evolve the last 3 years. So now that we're in this 4th year, I'm like, yeah, this pretty much tracks. It's not the same company anymore. Completely different. There's no focus on console power. There's no focus on, any of the promises of the next gen. That's the brand is shifted. They have moved in a direction that I don't really align with. I don't. Now, the hope would be is that if day and date on Game Pass becomes less of a focus, then they would move away from this paradigm of cadence over quality. I hate that. I'm like, don't do that. Disney's done that with their property, and it's ruined so much to the point that they're having to like change strategies with Marvel, and Star Wars is a disaster. I don't want to talk about that. I'm using that as an example. I don't want to go down that road. Please don't go down that road, okay? I'm just using that as an example of when all you care about is that frickin' cadence. We got to have that cadence. We got to keep people on the sub. We got to have that day and date. No, move away from that. Let these developers have the time. Let them make really good games. Microsoft has a ton of talent under their umbrella now. And I would hope that's what this leads to is like, listen, we're not really focused on day and date anymore. We're just not. We moved it. We moved it to Ultimate. We can't even say that in our marketing anymore. Half of our tiers don't get it. Kingslayer with 4 months. Welcome back. Dude, thank you so much for renewing hitting 69 members on the day. If you're a member plus or higher, I count you in the total now when you renew. Thank you so much, Kingslayer. Is this really a surprise? Says Release of Kraken. Almost all streaming platforms make their base subscription borderline useless or as unappealing as possible to get people to sub to the next tier. Oh, well, for sure. But here's the difference. This was consistently marketed as day and date. It's central to the identity of the brand. And now I'm extremely curious what their trailers are going to look like. Like, do you think the end card of their Xbox trailers are now going to say, play it day one on Game Pass? And are they just going to put a big fat asterisk on there? And they're like, as long as it's Ultimate or you're on PC. Like, it's confusing now. And I tried to say this when they introduced Xbox Core, and everybody told me I was overstating it. And I was like, no, I'm not. You can no longer clearly and cleanly say, play it day one on Game Pass. Now, the reason they continued to is Game Pass Core was people converted from live. They weren't like out there trying to sell Game Pass Core. They just converted people. But I told people, I said, that's the beginning. They're going to change the base offer. The base offer is not going to get day and date anymore. I predicted they were going to smash the standard offer and Core together, and you were just going to get like a base library. They're kind of doing that. You're getting the Game Pass library, but you're no longer getting day and date. You think they're going to say day one with Ultimate? But what about PC? They're trying to get new people to sign up on PC, right? And on PC, it's like, what, a $2 price bump? Where's my article? PC Game Pass is increasing from $9.99 to $11.99. Don't you see, like, even from a marketing perspective, I'm like, you just made it really tough on yourself to get PC users to sign up, because if you tell them, oh, play it day one on Game Pass Ultimate, that's not true if you're trying to get people to sign up on PC Game Pass. They don't need Ultimate. 5 spot from Riddish. Welcome back. Wasn't there a rumor that this year there'd be a COD tier? There were rumors there'd be a COD tier. That may still happen. We don't know. Maybe they were considering it, and these are the changes they decided to go with. Solemn says Game Pass Core or console or whatever it's called now replace Xbox Live Gold for basically the same price. It makes more sense for day and date to be on Ultimate. It's the only premium subscription. Felt like that was easy to see. I don't think it was easy to see for all the people that were singing the praises of Game Pass and day and date for the past couple of years. Tommy says PC Game Pass will be next. PC Ultimate. No, I don't think so. No. I think they're going to keep the PC Game Pass price lower. You know, it's $12, which is, this is just so interesting. Game Pass standard on console is going to be $15. So PC Game Pass is cheaper and gets more, which is that's a huge signal, I think, that they really want new users to sign up on PC. Like that's what they want, and I think that affects the marketing, because if you come out and you say play it day one on Game Pass, but you have to say play it day one on Game Pass Ultimate or play it day one on PC Game Pass and Ultimate, it's like that doesn't sound as clean, that doesn't look as nice. Now they could say play it day one on Game Pass, and maybe right below there they put PC Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimates to make it clear, like, these are the two tiers that get it. They could do something like that. So that way you know, you're like, oh, I'm on Core or I'm on Game Pass Standard. I don't get that. And for the time being, anybody that's on the traditional Xbox Game Pass console, they still get day and date as well. For what, the next 13 months, unless they stacked beyond that. I feel like looking at any other subscription in all of entertainment and gaming and outside of gaming, what is happening with it easily follows based on the offering of pricing changes. No. I've not seen... Who's doing this, Solemn? Did Netflix make a tier where you don't get access to their shows when they come out? Did Disney do that? They never promised Cadence either. Yes, they did. Are you kidding me, Jay? Don't you remember the interviews with Phil Spencer? He wanted one big game to hit Game Pass every quarter. He said that in multiple interviews. They quite literally said that's what they were trying to do. I don't know if he said, I promise, but he was like, that's our goal. One big game per quarter. One big game per quarter. And listen, they all but did it this year because they've got Hellblade. We know Stalker 2's coming. And then you've got Avowed and Indiana Jones, which we still don't have dates for, which is weird. I'm assuming they're going to do dates at the next big event. Maybe. I don't know what they're waiting for. Oh, that's what you're saying, Jay. I'm sorry. You're saying they didn't do Cadence. You're saying it... Okay. I misunderstood your super chat. Sorry. The loss lead any platform is still saturated. Well, and I think that's what Game Pass was designed to do. And that's what PC Game Pass will do, if that's what you're indicating, AOZ. Flight Sim, Avowed, Indie, Towerborn. Right. I forgot about Flight Sim. Towerborn wouldn't be included because Phil Spencer said something to the effect of like, one big game at quality per quarter. No shade to Towerborn. I don't think he has Towerborn in mind when he says that. He has in mind Indie, Avowed, Stalker 2, Hellblade. Like, that was the cadence. Stalker 2 got delayed. It was supposed to be the first quarter game. Hellblade 2 was supposed to be the second quarter game. And then I'm assuming Avowed would be third quarter, Indie would be fourth. But we don't know. They don't... They're not saying anything about release dates yet. Hulu does it. You can't watch certain things unless you have the Stars add-on. But isn't that a Stars subservice thing? Like Amazon Prime is like that. I can subscribe to Paramount. I can subscribe to Cinemax in addition to what I have. It's not who's changing, says Solemn. It's where they all already were. Xbox needed to be matched up. And yes, some of the subscriptions went from pay for the service, no commercials, to you got to pay for another tier. Yeah, but I'm not talking about commercials. I want you to imagine tomorrow, Disney Plus comes out and says the lowest tier will not get Mandalorian when it releases. You will have to wait 6 to 12 months. If you upgrade to our premium Disney Plus package, you'll get Mando when it hits. That's what's fundamentally changing here. You're trying to act like, well, this was easy to see and all the other sub-services are like that. No, there's no equivalency in the market to saying play it day one on Game Pass, day and date on Game Pass for how many years, and to then move that to Ultimate only. That is not the same as being like our lowest tier has ads. That's not the same. That's not an equivalency at all. A gifted member from TRM bumps us to 70. He sets up a 5-bomb dunker. We'll see if anybody takes it. And a 5 super chat from John Always. No indication of how long it'll take D&D games to drop down to the lower tiers. Oh, day and date games. You can't even make a value judgment. But it's only $20 a month. Okay, that again is not what's up for discussion. I mean, if you want to have a discussion about is the price too high or is it too low, we're not talking about that. The price is going up and they're taking features away. You're talking about a benefit offering on the base tier that eventually gets moved to another tier you have to pay money for. It's a core feature of why people pay for streaming. No, I am not talking about a benefit. I'm talking about content. Like, Thrifty is good to say content is not commercials. Them suddenly saying your tier is going to get ads, that's not the same as content not hitting your tier. Make the equivalency, bro. If Netflix or Disney Plus did that, if they said your tier isn't getting Mando day one, that's an equivalency. None of the sub-services are doing that. And if you want to say, oh, but I can get more on Hulu with Stars, no, that's an additive package on top. That's like getting EA or something on top of Game Pass. That's not the same. That's another company. Stars, Cinemax, all those companies, Paramount Plus, they partner with those companies to say, yeah, if people want to add us, you can throw us in too. The base offering on Disney Plus, the base offering on Netflix was you get our content, and Game Pass is changing and saying, no, you don't. You don't get that. You don't get that anymore. That was a core offering of the brand, and now that's gone unless you're on Ultimate or PC. Ash and Hollow with 34 months and a member plus. Subscribe to Reforge Gaming for top-tier gaming news coverage, awesome emotes, and best of all, the ability to torment creature. Thank you for 34 months, and that's a member plus, so it bumps the line to 71, and D Dizzle bumps the line to 72, a member plus renewal for 34 months. Content isn't hitting the tier day and date. It will still get the content later. Engage with what I'm saying, Solemn. If I was signed up, I'm signed up for Disney Plus right now, and Disney sent me an email and they said your tier will not get Mandalorian day one. You'll get it at some future unknown date. And some Disney Plus insider was like, yeah, case by case, maybe 6 to 12 months. I'd be like, what the frick am I paying for? I like Star Wars. I want to see Mando. What do you mean? If you subscribe to Game Pass and you're like, dude, day and date's great. They just announced Call of Duty's coming to Game Pass at the Xbox Showcase. And then a month later, they're like, yeah, but not really. If you're already on, you're good. If you were thinking about signing up, then you don't get it. You don't get Call of Duty. You got to go to the higher tier. Hang on. Brett Williams with 14 months, and this is why I've always said PS Plus is doing it right. It's supplemental. They never put themselves in a position of cutting back on content. You said read my message before that. It's not our lowest tier has ads. It's we had a $7 sub where you paid to not have ads. Now we're adding ads. No, you're shifting. No. You're shifting terminology. I never signed up for something like Netflix or Hulu and they said, you're paying to not get ads. It was, you're paying to get access to this content. And then they started putting in ads. If Game Pass did that, you'd have an equivalency. If they said, you paid this to get access to these games, we're going to start putting ads. So when you go to open the game, you see an ad. There's your equivalency. A buffer of interruption or advertisement before you get to the content. But I still get the content. I would still get Mando. I would just have to watch a commercial beforehand. That's an equivalency. That's not what they are doing. You're not formulating an equivalency because Disney Plus would have to say Mandalorian is not hitting the lower tier. It's going to come later at some undetermined date. They're not doing that. If Disney Plus does that, well, then there's your equivalency. That's what I'm saying. This is a big shift. This is a bigger shift than a price increase. Everybody's raising their prices. The price increase is like, yeah, okay. Everybody's doing that. That's not some, barn burner of a lead. Oh, a subservice price is going up. Yeah, okay. So is everybody. Lancelot with 14 months in a VIP. 14 months. The highest tier is worth it. Zubair says they're not adding day and date as a new feature on Ultimate. They're removing the entitlement that already existed. That's exactly right. That's what I'm saying. It's like you will no longer get this. You've got to bump up. Like that's the point that I'm making. Like that's more significant than, oh, you're going to start to see ads now. Lancelot with 14 months in a VIP. Higher tier is worth it. Hey, thank you so much, Lancelot. And then Trill Troll with 25 months. False equivalent, unmitigatable, non sequitur. Lono is back at it again. Welcome back. Thank you so much. That's 2 renewals taking us to 74. Remember, Member Plus is and above counting this total now, so celebrate those renewals, guys. It's the main offering of a subscription service for streaming, and day and date is Game Pass's offering. I'm saying that's the equivalency. I don't agree with you. No. I don't agree with you. I think you're recategorizing and saying that the main offering was a subscription service was not seeing ads. I think that's a ludicrous summary of what Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus have offered for the past couple of years. Their main offering is not ad-free viewing. Their main offering was content. That was the offering. I didn't subscribe to Netflix and be like, well, their main offering is that I don't have to see ads. It was, no, they have Lost. They have The Office. They don't anymore. But you see what I'm saying? Well, no, Lost is coming back. But you see my point? The main offering of Netflix, of Disney, of Hulu is the content. The main offering isn't ad-free viewing. Yeah, YouTube Premium, that's main offering is no ads. Netflix's sub was its main offering was content. You can come watch shows and movies. And adding in ads later is a bummer, no doubt. It's a change, no doubt. But it's not the same as saying, hey, we just told the world that Game Pass is getting Call of Duty day and date for the first time ever, and there's like 8 asterisks attached to it now. Only if you're on Ultimate, only if you're grandfathered in on the old one, only if you're on PC Game Pass. If you sign up new, if you're on Game Pass Core, you do not get Call of Duty day and date unless you are PC Game Pass or you pick the new version of Ultimate. Like, that's a huge shift. That's not this clean play it day one on Game Pass. That's not watch The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. That you can't cleanly state that anymore if you have to wait some undetermined amount of time. Peacock now has The Office, Lancelot. That was the first big move that NBC did to launch Peacock, was they yanked The Office because they knew there was a lot of value there. There was a lot of rewatch. People would just rewatch The Office over and over and over again. The only appeal I ever had for Game Pass was the value menu pricing. Why would I get it now? Less critical, probably less hilarious. No. I'm not sure what you're saying, Eugene. You still get the content and pay more to not have it interrupted. On Game Pass, you still get the content and you have to pay more to get brand new games day and date. I don't know how you typed that sentence and you think those are equivalent, Solemn. I don't know how you think those are equivalent to each other. If I could watch Mando the day that it comes out and I just have to watch an ad, that's not that big of a deal. Most people would just grin and bear it, especially if they're penny pinching and times are tough. But if they're told they have to wait to watch Mando, it's just going to come sometime in the future, and you got an insider saying 6 to 12 months and case-by-case basis, that's not a clean value offer, brother. It's like, okay, now you have to watch ads, but you still get the show. Okay, my expectations are clearly set. When are first-party games going to come to this Game Pass standard at $15 a month? When do you get them? When? When? You don't know. It's not a clean offer anymore. You usually talk me towards your side, but right now I disagree with you. D-Tom, are you talking to me? Bolton Gaming with 15 months and a member plus. Do you see... Wait, didn't you already celebrate, or did you do a super chat? Hang on a second. Are you getting to celebrate twice? Oh, yeah. That's kind of messed up. I can't count you twice. I already counted you in the count. It just hit chat without a message. That's going to really foil our plans here. Anyways, Bolton, thank you for 15 months. Do you see COD-only gamers buying Game Pass? I know it's not worth it for only COD. Do you see average consumers doing this? I honestly don't know. Lono, you can't judge what people would want. I wouldn't want commercials in front of every show either, Otto. I was simply saying that if times were tough and you were penny pinching and you couldn't upgrade, you would just grin and bear it. You're like, I really want to watch this show. I'll just deal with the ads. But you still... Oh, you upgraded. You upgraded? Hang on a second. Oh, you upgraded today. That's why it showed the member plus. You're good. Thank you. Thank you. That's why you got to do twice. And there it is, the 75th member of the day gifted by Skeeter. Appreciate you so much, dude. I hate seeing ads. I signed up for Peacock, and we were watching Alfred Hitchcock Presents. They're like 22-minute episodes. They were going to have like 3 commercials in them. I was like, dude, I'm not about to watch a 22-minute show and get 3 commercials. Like, if it was just one at the beginning of every episode, I would have been like, that's fine. But I upgraded immediately. I was like, not doing that. 76 members from Narwaffle hitting 25 months in a VIP, and then Skeeter with 12 months says, couldn't figure out how to upgrade, so here's a gift that I'll try next time. That's totally fine, dude. That works. 76 out of 100. You guys are moving the members today, man. I really like giving credit for the member plus and above. I think that's good for what we're working towards, and it shows appreciation to you guys that do that. Lono, I was saying we'd probably be less critical if it was just a price increase and no feature removal, but it would still be hilarious given assurances that prices wouldn't be raised. Can somebody find me that article? I really want to read that quote, because I tried to tell people at the time that they were talking out of both sides of their mouth. Legend status with 25 months on a VIP. Welcome back. You don't have to pay $240. You can pay for months you feel like paying for. Oh, you're talking to somebody about the pricing. That bumps us to 77. What in the heck just happened? I don't know what I did. Anyway. Don't tell them I said this, but I'll pay not to have ads every time. Oh, for sure. Yeah, D-Tom said yes. Netflix removes content at the base tier. PlayStation never gives you day and date. I'm not comparing it to PlayStation. And what has Netflix removed from their base tier? What content? I'm genuinely curious. I didn't know other services were even doing this. They've removed content from the base tier of Netflix. What have they removed? So if you're on the higher tier of Netflix, you can continue watching. Give me an example. I would like to know, because I didn't realize that they were doing that. That would be an equivalency to what Xbox is doing. I read it. They said they weren't going to raise prices with ABK. They said it wouldn't make sense and would cause churn rate. I read it recently. Here, let me see if I can find it. It was VGC Game Pass price won't increase. Here it is. I don't know if this is the quote though. Let me see let me just read this ad hoc here. Price for subscription can be easily revised. Here. Game Pass prices will not increase as a result of the merger, and certainly will not increase to a point that offsets the substantial benefits of Activision titles coming to Game Pass on a day-and-date basis. This is especially so given Game Pass will continue to be constrained by buy-to-play. Listen to me. I told people at the time, this is the quote. Read that carefully. Game Pass prices will not increase as a result of the merger, and certainly will not increase to a point that offsets the substantial benefits of Activision titles coming to Game Pass on a day-and-date basis. Meaning, they're going to increase. It's like, well, they're not going to increase because of the merger, but they're not going to increase to a point that offsets the benefits of getting Activision titles on their day-and-date. Listen to what that I said at the time. That quote is one of the most remarkable displays of corporate doublespeak I have ever seen. He doesn't even start a new sentence. He says it in the same sentence. That's one sentence. He doesn't even start a new sentence. He's just like, yeah, it's not going to increase because of the merger. And it won't increase to a point that offsets the benefits. What? Wait, what? You just said it wasn't going to increase, but then you said it's not going to increase to a point that offsets the benefits of the game, of the titles coming the day and day. He's saying that it will increase. The merger hasn't increased the prices. Inflations and currency adjustments adjust the price, in my view. So you think that's what he's saying, Work and Lurk. He's saying, listen, Game Pass prices aren't going to increase because of the merger. Like, they're going to increase, but they're not going to increase because of the merger. Yes, that's one of the best sentences. It's one of my favorite sentences. It's like, well, it's not going to increase because of the merger, but it's also not going to increase to a point that offsets the benefits of all these great titles coming to Game Pass. It's like, wait, what? I remember when I read it, I reread the sentence like 8 times. I was like, hang on a minute. He's contradicting himself within the same sentence. Now, if Work and Lurk is correct, that might be what this guy's trying to indicate. That, like, listen, the Game Pass prices are going to go up, but they're not going to go up because of the merger. They're going to go up because they're going to go up. And they're not going to go up past the point that, like, hey, it's still worth it. Look at all this great stuff that you're getting. Netflix's ad-supported plan includes the vast majority of titles available, but severely popular movies. Okay, hang on a second. Was that a new plan, though, Eugene? Ad-supported has all but a few movies and TV shows, unlimited mobile games. Okay, standard with ads. Let me ask you something. Was that a brand new tier that you could sign up for voluntarily, or did they convert people to that tier? I'm genuinely curious because it's not an equivalency if they just said, hey, do you want to save some money? We have a new really low tier that includes ads and doesn't really have everything. I would want to know what the rollout of that Netflix tier looked like. Look at HBO and HBO Max when it first rolled out. How did they do it there? I didn't have it at the time. I don't know what that looked like either. B-roll for the show. Okay. For this one, top left. I feel like the fact that they want a sponsor would mean you care less about people. Okay. Pretty sure this was a new tier. It's a new tier. That's not comparable then. It's not comparable. They're not saying here's a new lower cost tier that has ads and less content. That's not what Xbox is doing. Xbox is saying this is now the standard offering Game Pass tier for console, and it doesn't include day and date. They're removing the feature. They're saying if you want day and date, you got to go to Ultimate. They have standard with ads, and then they have standard on Netflix. And it's not like when you sign up for standard, it's like, well, no, yeah, we're just going to take stuff away. You got to sign up for premium. They added that as a new tier for Netflix for people that would like to drop down. That is not what Xbox is doing. They're not like, well, you could drop down to this really cheap tier. That's like what Game Pass Core is. It's like the cheapest offering. It doesn't even come with day and date. It's just like, what, like 25 titles or something, and then online. Other people are saying they were converted. Well, if Netflix converted people over to the standard with ads, they might have been on like an ancient plan, and then you'd have an equivalency. That would be an equivalency. They went from this plan to this plan, not of their own. The grandfather period expired, and they got less. There's your equivalency. So Netflix did do it, kind of, to a section of people. My big point in this debate and this back and forth has been that one of the fundamental offerings of Game Pass has been play it day one on Game Pass, day and date on Game Pass. That's been a central tenet of it. That's gone now. They can't say that as cleanly. They couldn't say it with Xbox Game Pass Core, but they continued to say it because the expectation of people on Core was never that they were getting day and date. They were Game Pass Live Gold people that like got converted over. So they were still free and in the clear to be like, yeah, we're going to keep saying play it day one on Game Pass. We're going to keep saying that. That expectation was never set for those consumers. Everybody else, that was the expectation that was set. Was that if you signed up for Game Pass, you got a day and date. Like, that's not happening anymore. They're basically telling people, well, we'll let you do it if you stack. You can stack for 13 months, and then you're grandfathered. If you stacked beyond 13 months, well, then you're good. But I still wonder if they're just going to switch people anyway. I don't know if they can legally do that. I don't know if there's you know, is there legalese in the terms of service in the contract or whatever you would call it where, well, yeah, we only have to guarantee you the features and the price or whatever for X number of months. Like, will they be able to boot people off even if they've stacked 3 years? Will they be able to convert people in like 18 months or something? I don't know. They'd have to have some kind of, I don't know, loophole in their own terms of service or something. It's fine. That was never my main point anyway. My point was that other sub-services had to change both their offerings and prices. I expected the same for Game Pass. That's the main thing I was trying to say. Well, okay. Rather generically, yes. All sub-services are changing, thinking through, how do we get people to the higher tier? How do we make more money off these people? You are correct in saying that. I think day and date is that's a bigger shift than like, oh, well, you have to watch ads now. That's not the same. How many people have 3 years stacked? Is it worth the effort to get them off their plan? That's a good point, Zubair. The percentage of people that stacked like 3 years is probably pretty insignificant in the grand scheme. UK Gamer 84 renews their VIP or upgrades. I don't know. I don't know if that's an upgrade to VIP or a renewal. Either way, it counts toward the member goal. Thank you so much. The people rushing to stack were the biggest suckers. No, I don't think they were suckers. They got a bargain, homie. They're stacked up for pennies on the year, homie. Weren't they doing it for like $1 or something crazy? They were doing something. There was some kind of a loophole. I never did it, so I don't even know how it worked. I don't think they're suckers. I think they got a great deal. Separately, to go back to the article, they were saying they weren't going to increase prices over Activision. Then they did so, even for the tier that isn't going to even get Call of Duty, which is pretty funny. Yeah, they're just raising the price of standard, sure. They're raising the price of standard Game Pass to what's really funny, Solomon. I said this earlier. That's what Ultimate used to cost. $15 a month. Xbox Game Pass standard is $15, doesn't get day and date, and that's what Ultimate used to cost. It's like, wow. It's just crazy how fast things change, how fast prices change. You know? People who stacked were smart, but they're locked into Xbox. Well, yeah, I was going to say, I wouldn't say they're locked in, but they are kind of locked in. That is true. If they want to retain those benefits, I mean, they could still retain those benefits on PC, could they not? Well, no, that's only if they did Ultimate. Doesn't Ultimate cross over to PC? If they stacked up for console, I don't know if how does that work if you try to use your console Game Pass on how do you do that? Because I've done it before. Oh, but I pay for Ultimate, right? Isn't that why I can use Game Pass on my PC? Because I have Ultimate. If you have standard console version of Game Pass, it doesn't translate to PC, right? Like if somebody bought 3 years of Game Pass console, are they able to use that on PC? You didn't stack 3 years to save 20%. I think you saved like 90%. It was like $1 a month converted over when they were trying to get the subs. That's right, Zubair. Correction. That was old school stacking. I don't know how stacking worked recently. Yeah, that was an old school way of doing it, Zuby, but people stacked out like 4 and 5 years. Yeah, this guy's like, I got 4 years for $16 plus the cost of live. There it is. Welcome back, Lono. Hope you had fun with the family. Thank you so much, Ahmed, for 40 months. Welcome in, dude. PC Game Pass is separate unless you have Ultimate. Okay, so if they stacked, so then what that person said is true. That is true. That they are locked in. They're basically locked into Xbox. They have to continue to buy to reap the benefits of that Game Pass. If they stack some standard console Game Pass and they stacked it out 3 or 4 years, yeah, they've got to be on the console to reap the benefits. Why on earth did they increase the price of Game Pass Core? I don't think they want people on that tier, if I'm honest with you. Alex Gaming 95. I don't think they want people on that tier. I think they want people to bump up. There are guys on Reddit that stacked until like 2026. If that's the furthest out they stacked, then yeah. And a 20 bomb from Ahmed, a huge gifted member bomb, puts us on the doorstep of 100 members on the day. Renews his member and drops an enormous gifted member bomb on the chat. Guys, if you just got a gifted member from Ahmed, we are counting member pluses and VIP renewals in this total. So now you can upgrade and it counts. So if you got a gifted... Oh, you're Behemoth. I was like, man. Now it makes sense. Behemoth likes to drop member bombs on the chat. Now I'm like, okay. I was like, oh my gosh. Solemn says that's probably part of why they removed day and date and raised the price of that tier so people wouldn't see the value in staying there. That's exactly it, Solemn. On that, we agree. They basically were like, yeah, for $15, you get all these games, and that's about it. You don't get day and date. Games like Black Ops 6 will come, I don't know, a year from now maybe. And you're like, well, what the heck is this? So, yeah, they want you to bump up. And a 10 bomb! And a 10 bomb! From Ahmed, formerly known as Behemoth. I like the name Ahmed, but Behemoth is more fun to say. Thank you so much, dude. Taking us to 108 members. Big Mad Mo says, console-only Game Pass, you can only stack for 13 months, but Ultimate you can stack the same. Yeah, exactly, Mo. Because what I think they're going to do, Mo, in a couple of years, they're going to bump everybody off the standard console version that gets day and date. I think they're just going to bump those people off. They're going to be like, no, you're on standard console now for $15, and if you want day and date, you got to upgrade, That's what I think they're going to do. If you guys have not yet hit the like button today, man, do me a favor and smash the like button. Thank you to all the new subscribers today. I appreciate it so much. If you want to talk in the chat, make sure and hit the subscribe button. Subscribing is totally free, and the more often you're here, you might get these gifted memberships that are rolling in today. I've already gifted the 20 that I owe because the 5 that I owed you just hit the chat right now. Thank you so much again for the strong welcome back. I was off for a week, but we're back, and I am doing a show today in about an hour. We still have an hour left here to keep discussing this, but I am doing a show today with Kirk about Concord. So if you want to know my thoughts on that game, stick around. Finally, he's back. Please no more vacays for the rest of the year. I always do one for Thanksgiving, so you're going to have one more, in November. But we got a long stretch before that happens. What if Black Ops 6 sucks like MW3? I do not think that will happen. I actually think Black Ops 6 is going to be really good. Yeah. I think the campaign is going to be awesome. I think people are going to love the new directional changes to PC. I think PC guys are going to love it with mouse and keyboard especially. It's the same as all the others now. I don't care because I have Ultimate, I always have. Yo, Mo, how high could they take the price on you? Would be my question. How high could they take the price? They're going up from what, like 17 to 20. I wouldn't be surprised if this time next year Ultimate's $24.99. What? How high is too high for you? Where you would say, yeah, I'll just start buying my games. Because you're going to get to the point where your annual cost of Game Pass is going to be, right now, it's a little bit more than buying 3 full price games. Right now. So, at the 20, you're talking about $240. You're talking about $240 a year. If you just bought 3 $70 games a year, you'd be at $210. So my question is, are you feeling like, okay, eventually I'm gonna jump because it's just gonna get too much? They went up how much in 7 years? I'm not asking that question. I'm asking you personally as a consumer. What's the point where you say this is too high? It would be more economical for me to just buy games. Everybody has a tipping point. Everybody has a tipping point where they're going to say, listen, it would be cheaper for me to just buy games. You know what I'm saying? If it goes up to $30 in 2 months, you've paid almost for a full game every 2 months. Nope, not at all. Wait, so they can raise it indefinitely and you're never going to leave Game Pass, Mo? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. There's got to be a tipping point where you measure it economically and say, it would be cheaper for me to buy games. It depends on what they give. I'm not saying... No. The question is very simple. How high can they take Ultimate? Ultimate right now, you're getting day-and-date games like Call of Duty. You're going to be getting day-and-date games like Doom and Avowed and Indiana Jones. How high can they take it before you say, yeah, it'd be more economical for me to just buy these games at full price? There's got to be a number where you say, this is not helping me anymore. This is no longer a value to me. If your library is dependent on Game Pass, it's hard to walk away. You won't have any games if you do. No, I haven't left Netflix either. I mean, Eugene's making a good point. I feel like the breaking point for a lot of people would be $30. I feel like once you touch 30, people would say, I mean, every 2 months I'm basically buying a full game. That's stupid. If you're not buying 6 full price games a year, you're going to say, yeah, no, that's too much. I'm in the same boat as Mo. Always had Ultimate when they've offered it. For me, if they increase it above 20, they will have to add more value. Okay, so you're solemn saying if they raise the price, I got to get more as a consumer. I wouldn't just stay because, like what Eugene is saying, I mean, if you're really, really been dependent on Game Pass for the past couple of years, you don't have a game library. This is assuming individual game prices don't go up, says MASH, and they don't add other stuff to Game Pass like WoW or more third parties. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Game prices could go up, therefore making Game Pass's value more transcendent. Like if they bumped up to 30, but then games were 80, you might say, nope, it's still worth it. I'm getting a steady trickle of $80 games. Yep. Still worth it. That's a good point. If game prices go up again, that would then make Game Pass's value not suddenly be diminished if they tried to raise the price again. Guys, take a quick second. We've been streaming for about an hour and 15. I didn't ask for likes. I did a second ago. It doesn't seem to have worked. Double check. YouTube made an update. I thought they fixed it. Make sure it's saving your like presses. It does help us. Liking, subscribing, chatting, all those things are free, and they really, really help out the channel. If you take their cadence of the 4 AAA games at quality per year, then 280 would be the absolute max for me. Donnie says it all depends on the games they launch. If Game Pass gets 3 AAA first party and 3 AA first party per year, $25 is probably still okay if that's how you value it. Right, if they hit that level of cadence, Donnie, yeah, 3 to 4 AAAs a year, around 3 to 4 AAs a year, yeah, that's still a lot of money saved. Redfall, Starfield, Forza Motorsport, and Hellblade in 14 months. Yeah, and you have to decide whether or not you felt that was worth it, right? Redfall, most people would say no. Forza Motorsport, honest people would say no. Because it was so bug-riddled and terrible. Like, have you seen some of the comparisons? That game was not ready for launch. Like, it was a disaster. And this is what I've always tried to tell people. If you're not honest about something launching in a disastrous state, then you can't really give it credit for improving. Because, like, it's like a night and day difference. Forza Motorsport's looking better and better every update. And you can't really give them credit for it if you're out here lying and saying, oh, no, the game was in great condition when it launched. It was awesome. No, it wasn't. Look at the user scores. You can't even give them credit for fixing it. Because, according to you, there was nothing to fix. So, you've got, those two, most people would say, were not very good. And they hit Game Pass and didn't really add value. Now, Starfield and Hellblade 2... is again up for debate, but depending on the person. I think Starfield was definitely worth it on Game Pass because of the sheer size of the game. Hellblade 2, I was pretty disappointed. It's the only thing that came out in 14 months that's false. I think he was saying first party, Mo. He was saying that's what Xbox first party studios have brought to Game Pass in the last 14 months. I don't think he's incorrect in saying that. $30 would be the point where you'd have to consider buying your games. I agree, Brooklyn. You might start saying it's probably better. I'm probably better off just building a library. Listen, you're going to start to feel like an adult, but it's the difference between renting and buying, right? Eventually, the rent is just too damn high. And when the rent gets too high, you say, I'd be better off paying a mortgage. Because at least I'm then accruing value in property instead of just giving it to a landlord. So Game Pass could get so expensive that you're like, it would be better for me to be spending, if you're spending every year, right now it's 20. So let's just forget that. If you're spending, $30 every year. I'm sorry, not every year, every month. Okay. I was clocking it out for 2 years thinking of stacking. That's like 720. That's too much. Let's just go for 1 year. 360. The 360 a year. You might start saying, I'd be better off spending that 360 investing in a library of games. Because that's a lot more. That's 5 games a year. That's a game every other month, basically. You could either spend all that money on Game Pass, or you could buy about 5 games a year. Right? That's basically a game every other month. And do you see what I'm saying? And then you're building a library. People might start to think, yeah, $30 is too high. If it ever gets that high, we're talking hypotheticals. I'm not saying it's going to get to 30. I feel like 25 is about as much as they could push it. They didn't bring Minecraft Legends, Quake, and AoE. In the last 14 months. Oh, yeah, that was April of last year. Yeah. Everybody forgot about it. It didn't do very well. I was actually looking forward to Minecraft Legends, and it didn't seem like it did very well. Or they could make a power play and make some games not purchasable. You can't buy Apple TV shows. Well, it wouldn't be the first time that Phil Spencer went back on something. But Phil Spencer said that they wouldn't do that. They would never make it to where you can't buy a game. Right? So here's the thing. I don't think Microsoft would want to do that. I don't think so. Now that they've seen the numbers for like Sea of Thieves on PlayStation or Minecraft, and they're about to see the numbers for Call of Duty, like Black Ops 6 is going to be big. It's going to sell really, really well, right? I don't think that Microsoft would be okay with that. I don't think they ever would even entertain the idea of like, there was a time where I thought they were going to do that. I really did. I thought Microsoft likes to put things behind a subservice like they've done with Office 365. Microsoft's made it very clear that they want to publish. Like Satya really changed my mind. A couple of those interviews, I was like, okay, he sees gaming very differently than they do like OS and Office 365. They see it very differently. They see it more as a publishing avenue than we want to get people on a subscription service. And I think the reason is it's far more expensive to bring those games to market than it is to like update Office 365 and maintain it. It's not even remotely the same. Like cost of operations to maintain, update, distribute, and iterate on Microsoft Office 365, the cost of that versus the cost of, a brand new video game. They're not even in the same hemisphere, I would think. COD always sells well. No, it does. What I'm saying is I think Black Ops 6 is going to be one of the better selling Call of Duties. I'm saying comparatively to the history of Call of Duty, I think Black Ops 6 is going to be very, very strong. Even in their worst years, like what was it? I think Call of Duty Vanguard was one of their worst, and it still was like the #1 seller in North America. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying comparatively to the market. I'm saying comparatively to Call of Duty releases, I think Black Ops 6 is going to be huge. Yo, what's good, Vaughn? Good to see you. You could see it with platform exclusives like Forza. I don't see it, AOZ. No way. No way. Yeah. Sachi doesn't like exclusives. I don't think you're going to put Forza 6 on Game Pass and be like, nope, you can't buy it. I can't see them doing that. I can't. Trying to commoditize games like Windows or Office is asinine. It's too expensive. Ownership isn't what it's cracked up to be. If you don't pay your taxes on your paid off property, they can still snatch your property and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, sure. but ownership versus renting is still superior once the rent gets too high. Because you could basically take all of that money and be, accruing and building, equity in a house. You're building value in a house. That's something that you get to retain. It's not the same as renting. You rent for 5 years, or you pay into a house for 5 years. One is more financially, beneficial to you. I'm not saying everybody can. If you're stuck renting, I'm not trying to denigrate. Everybody gets to a point where they're like, man, the rent's just too high. It might be time for us to consider buying a house. What's our monthly income? What size house do we need? What size loan could we potentially get? And then that money that you're spending in rent goes into a house. We rent the water at our house? What? I can easily imagine one of the biggest video game companies in the world at least trying to push more and more double AAA titles to 100% subscription. Well, now we're talking about two different things, Derek, because a monthly subscription to have access like a World of Warcraft, yes, I think more titles will try to do something like that if they can. I don't think Microsoft or Xbox are going to want to take a new game and put it on Game Pass only and tell people they can't buy it. I just don't think so. That goes against everything they've been signaling. If you look at the conversations CFO and CEO have been having, they're not signaling that that's even a part of the plan. I mean, he's right. You don't keep the water. It goes down a drain. Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess. We don't own the electricity. Yeah, I mean, you can't own a source of power. You get access to it, You can't own the internet. You get access to it. I'm just wondering, what are these studios and devs' thoughts right now on Game Pass price hike? COD being on Game Pass, and if they fear them closing or shutting down because of all this from Xbox. I mean, I don't think that the guys working on Call of Duty are scared of getting closed down. They're probably scared of getting trimmed. Operating costs to maintain and distribute and make Call of Duty, it's like 11 studios. Some of those studios are probably a little nervous. That's a lot of studios for one title. And if they shrink a bunch of those studios, they instantly make Call of Duty more profitable, because then the operating costs and production costs to bring Call of Duty to market every year goes down, and that increases your margins. Speak for yourself. I collect all my wastewater in a tub. You can't own your electricity. Oh yeah, this is true. That's that's completely separate discussion. That you could establish there are solar efforts you can do. Some people get so effective with it that they end up getting money back. They pump electricity back into the grid. I want to comment on Solemn's comment about the Netflix comparison. I think it's because you were getting a feature like no ads in movies or shows before, and Game Pass that was all about day and date on all sub-levels. Now you're almost incentivized to upgrade for something you were already getting, and Netflix is if you want no ads, you have to upgrade. In both comparisons, you're upgrading for something you were already getting. Well, no, Haseo. The reason it's not an equivalency is that Netflix offered a new lower service. Netflix never did anything to me. I've never changed my subscription to them. They just told me mine's more expensive. They didn't suddenly just start giving me ads. And they're like, yep, if you want to get rid of the ads, you got to upgrade. They never did that. They just raised the price. This is different. They're saying, no, your tier will no longer be available in the future. Anybody signs up new can't even get this tier. And when they sign up, it's more expensive and it doesn't get day and date. That's the difference. Netflix didn't do that. Netflix offered a cheaper tier that had ads. They didn't offer a new, more expensive tier that also came with ads. There's no equivalency there. I still maintain that's not an equivalency. Yo, what's good, Ghost in the Garage Gaming, man? Thank you. Thank you for the welcome back. I've been seeing your pictures on Twitter every now and again, dude. You're always looking sharp. The house I'm working out owns a mega farm in Naples, about 40, 60 grand each payment from the electrical company. That's nice. The way my house sits, I'm considering it. Because we wouldn't be selling anytime in the near, probably, I don't know. To me, it feels like a forever home. But, the way our house sits, we bake. We have no shade. So it's like, good line in the back. so it wasn't visible from the street. You could line the back, and I could probably really, really benefit from that. You don't lose anything with console only? Yes, you do. It's more expensive, and you're losing day and date. Console only is now the price of what Ultimate used to be. Ultimate used to be like $15, and the console Game Pass is now $15, and it doesn't get day and date. And they're not even committing to a time frame, so you don't even know when you will get Black Ops 6, if ever. I think it's going to be a year. I think they're going to make you wait a year. They're not going to do it in like 3 or 6 months. They want the people that are on Ultimate to really feel the benefit. You don't want anybody saying, well, I'll just wait. Amazon Prime had a free tier with ads. You paid $15 for now ads. Now you get ads in that tier 2, and you have to pay $3 more to get ads. Right. That's an equivalency. The equivalency there would be they altered what you were getting to make so that you would upgrade for sure. It's still not the best equivalency because you're literally getting less content. It's not like they told them like, oh, you'll just get ads. You can still play the games. If you're console only, you're grandfathered in. No. I'm talking about the new console version, Mo. Who cares about the grandfather thing in? Right? Who cares about being grandfathered in? That plan is as good as gone, Mo. In 18 months, they're going to push everybody off of it more than likely. The small amount of people that stacked more than 13 months will be okay. Everybody else is going to be shoved into the new one. Netflix has begun phasing out its new ad-free plan. Its basic ad-free plan. Oh, so Netflix is phasing that out. They're getting rid of it. See? That's an equivalency. It's still, again, I still don't think it's the best equivalency because you still get access to the content. It's not, if they were doing that on Game Pass, it would be a much better equivalency. You'd be able to say, yeah, you still get the game's day and date. You just have to watch an ad every time you open up Black Ops 6 or whatever. Creature, are we getting coffee orders? Because I'm not getting emails if we are. If we're getting them, great. I'm not getting notified, and I don't know. I'd have to go somewhere to check. You are until you lapse. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Mo, that feels like wishful thinking. Like, that feels like wishful thinking. I don't think they're going to let people stay and be like, well, as long as you don't lapse, you're fine. No. I think it's going to get to the point, it's 100% going to get to the point where they say, you can't even have this plan anymore. They're going to shove people off of it. Oh, D-Tom says that talks about the old change. Their old ad-free plan changed to ad-free plus less content for $7. Had to upgrade. See, what's interesting, D-Tom, is I never made any changes to my Netflix plan. They must have offered some new introductory rate or something to get new customers, and all of those people went through this. I never did that. I've just always been on the standard Netflix, and I just get an email about every 16, 18 months, and they're like, yeah, your price is going up by $1. Xbox fans, wishful thinking since 2013. Hey man, I was right there with them until about 2 years ago when I was like, I don't like what y'all are doing. Would a good equivalency be how streaming like Netflix only counts the 3-screen family plan now in the same household and not outside your household anymore? No. A good equivalency would be them saying your tier, you're getting grandfathered. But anybody who signs up new, and eventually, you know when they're grandfathering you, you know they're going to kick you off or change your tier. You know they're going to. If they said your tier in the future, or anybody signing up new, doesn't get access to some of the content, I kept using Disney Plus. Like, if Disney Plus literally said, hey, your tier, you're getting grandfathered in, but anybody who signs up new, and eventually in the future, if you lapse or sign up or come back, you will not get Mandalorian day one. You'll have to wait. And we don't even tell you how long you'll have to wait. A single gifted from Gavin takes us to 109 members on the day. Guys, if you upgrade to Member Plus or above, that also counts in the total. And then every month when you celebrate that renewal, it counts. Because every month you're helping the channel out. We want to celebrate that. Eugene says the TV shows and the movies missing from the ad tier on Netflix are not Netflix's property. It's third-party content with licensing restrictions. There you go. Another reason why it's not a good equivalency. Like, Xbox is saying our stuff, our games, you're not getting them day and date on that tier. That's why I said it would be like Disney Plus saying you don't get Mando when it comes out. You'd be like, what the huh? Well, when am I going to get it? Well, I don't know, sometime. We're not going to give you a date. How does Game Pass work for DLC for games? Most DLC does not hit Game Pass. Some has, but most does not. So you have to buy it. Some of it hits, some of it doesn't. Some of it you like, what was it with Starfield? You could like pay the difference on the ultimate version or whatever. PlayStation has PlayStation games on its sub. Nintendo has Nintendo. Xbox has Xbox games. So which is the best sub service? I mean, it really comes down to the player. Because there are probably people that think Nintendo's online thing is great. I don't like it that much. I use PlayStation Plus infrequently. I use Game Pass somewhat regularly. Yeah, you're going to have to walk me through how to print those labels, Creature, because it's not hitting stamps. Are those usernames? I can't, those are first. Oh, I see the usernames. Reaper ordered a bag of Frickmas, and Talica ordered a triple threat, and Predator ordered 4 bags of Dark Roast. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, you'll have to get me on those emails. Those emails look nice. I can actually see. Guys, if you're not aware, Reforge Roast is up and running. ReforgeRoast.com is up and running, and we are doing Frickmas in July. So those of you that love the Frickmas blend can get it, and our triple threat is the lowest it's ever been, $48. You can try all 3 flavors. If you've never tried coffee with balanced acidity before, you need to try this coffee out. I was just home, and my cousin said, she was like, I can drink your coffee, it doesn't hurt my stomach. She's like the 3rd person to tell me that. So Xbox never had an expectation of third-party day and date. Netflix did. False equivalency. We're not talking about expectations. We're talking about the brand. If Netflix or Disney suddenly said, you don't get our content day one. That's what Xbox is saying. Xbox is saying, you don't get our content day one. Phil Spencer just stood on a stage and said, this is the first time ever that Call of Duty's hitting Game Pass day and date. And now there's a giant asterisk attached to that announcement. You're saying your coffee doesn't make you have to poop for an hour? No, like sensitive stomachs. Coffee can hurt, like cause pain. I'm not talking about like, oh, I've got to go to the bathroom. I'm talking like some people can't drink coffee. It hurts their stomach. It's the acidity. It's acidic. I mean, you guys see me drink it every morning. You don't see me running out of here. I go upstairs to use the restroom rather quickly. I'm doing the other thing, but that's just because I'm drinking tons of water and coffee. None of the services offer anywhere near the same value as each other. Nintendo service offers the least value. PlayStation offers the middle tier. Game Pass offers the most. Yeah, and that starts to get subjective, though, Solemn. It starts to get subjective because if you're not looking for the games that they're bringing day and date, you know. When are we going to find out about the PlayStation Pro? I believe PlayStation will do a showcase in September, and they'll announce it. And they'll open up for pre-orders in October. and it'll ship in November, I think. That's probably how it's going to go. Yeah, Hotshot. Yeah, the coffee shipping to Belgium outside of the U.S. it's very expensive. We just don't have any. We don't have any control over that. I can't control the shipping. I can't control the international shipping costs. PS Plus is the best value for new people to gaming. Yeah, if you're new to gaming, PS Plus is really good because it's got more games in total. You have to be willing to go back and play older games, though. I would say that's probably the difference. If you've not played many of the PS exclusives. Right, but you also have to be willing to go back and play older games. Some people don't like. I'm one of the people that don't like that. I don't actually get a lot of value out of PS Plus. I like the trials. I've used that quite a bit. That's a great value. And then whenever my kids are looking for something new to play, we go and we peruse. And there's been some pretty good stuff. My son's played a handful of games from PS Plus. And then my daughter's played a handful of games from Game Pass. By the way, people will not have this discussion. This discussion will compare Xbox and PS services. Most people won't compare what they get now and what they used to get. I mean, again, it depends on the person. If you're switching to PlayStation over this, you've really got to be sure that's the right call. You've got to be sure that's the right call because you're losing all those Game Pass games that you've had up to now. Generally speaking, Lono, but yes, I agree. Ultimately, it really is case by case on your taste in games. But if I had to speak for most people, generally, I'd stick to my last message. Well, most people know. Most gamers. Most people, like if right now I was setting somebody up brand new, I was talking to my cousin about this, a different cousin, and I was talking to him about he was like, oh, I need to get a new Xbox. And I told him, I was like, dude, the games you like to play, you should get a PlayStation. He likes FromSoft games. And I'm like, Rise of the Ronin and Stellar Blade, just this year alone, you would enjoy. And that's not even mentioning like Ghost of Tsushima and all the other great combat-based or third-person games. It's like you should get a PlayStation. It's not even a question. The type of games that he likes. But then when you look at other people, it's like, well, yeah, no, Game Pass is probably a much better deal for you. Like my nephews still get a lot of benefit from Game Pass. And I told him, I said, yeah, the Game Pass pricing's going up. Why not a PC? Because he would be, basically saving and penny pinching to buy a new system. He wouldn't be in the position to buy a PC worth buying. He'd have to buy like the lowest end. Once you go down, like if you're like on Amazon or something and you buy like an $800 pre-made, it's like he's at that point he's better off buying a PS5. To get the performance that you would want to get, he'd have to spend way more than it would cost him to get a PS5. Everyone's different. It depends on the games and how much a service is to the individual. Game Pass, PlayStation Plus, and Nintendo Online are all good. Yeah, I mean, again, it's just that's why I don't like comparing them. I don't like comparing them because everybody's going to view it differently. So there's no hard conclusion to come to. Oh no, Game Pass is better. Yeah, for some people it is. For others, PlayStation Plus might be better. Like if you had a PlayStation 1 and a 2 and maybe a 3 and you're kind of coming back to PlayStation, you might think PlayStation Plus is better because you're like, yo, here's all these classic games I used to play. It really, really depends. And I think that's why comparing them is always a bit of a fruitless endeavor because their offerings are both good dependent on the person. Maybe even great depending on the person. I was comparing the subservices based on the other chatters. All of PlayStation's first-party games aren't on PS Plus. If we're talking which of the three consoles, that's a different combo. Right, but a lot of the times, if you're coming late to the console, Solemn, you can get a lot of the first-party stuff on PlayStation Plus. again, you're coming late. You're not getting day and date, but you're getting, that's the point, is like, if you're late, there's an ocean of games for you to play. Day and date wouldn't even probably matter that much to you. I remember that was a big thing that Doc Dark would talk about. That was his big thing. He was like, I'm late to gaming, so Game Pass, he was eating good. There's just an ocean of games for him to play through. It didn't matter that there was like a first-party drought from Xbox Studios. So if you're late and you grab Game Pass, like my kids are a good example. My kids don't care. They don't care that Halo Infinite was not very good and is basically EOL and didn't go anywhere. They don't care about that. My daughter played Little Kitty Big City, you know? She had a blast. Can't play the old COD games on PlayStation? Yeah, like that's a good example. If you're like a huge Call of Duty guy, that's going to be huge. You know, getting those COD games on Xbox. That's going to be again, it's so value subjective. Still up saying that Concord feels overpriced and unready. His beta impressions. Guys, in about 40 minutes, we'll be doing a Concord stream with Kirk talking about what we thought about it. For most gamers, going PC is not the way. Too expensive. Most people lack PC knowledge to invest in it. If the next piece of Xbox hardware does the side-loading PC thing that we're hearing about, I think that would be really compelling to a lot of people that up to now have thought the same. They've thought, oh, PC's kind of scary, because Steam is fantastic. It really is. There's so much when they do the big Steam sales. So many great little games in there. They tend to get updates first. Like I think Brotato is doing its DLC and its couch co-op, and sadly, I think it's coming to PC first. That like really bums me out. But I would love that. I would love an Xbox console that like lets me sideload Steam. That would be amazing. And I think that would compel a lot of people to say, hey, you know, I don't really want to get a PC and a mouse and a keyboard. Like they think it's daunting. It's not that it's daunting. It just looks daunting, and it is more expensive. If you're the average consumer and you're on Amazon or you're standing in a Best Buy, you're going to say, well, you know, I can buy a console for $500 or $600, and you go over to the PC aisle and everything's around $1,000. That's just going to automatically create a stigma. You're like, and just walking over there, it's different. The way they're positioned, there's a mouse, there's a keyboard, there's this tower, there's all these lights, there's a monitor. You know, you go over to the consoles and you see Mario and you see Master Chief, you know, and you see controllers. It just seems more consumer gamer friendly. And so I think if they had something there and they said, hey, you know, this new Xbox console, I'm telling you, that's going to be their slogan, more than a console, right? The next Xbox, more than a console. And that's going to be their big push. Yeah, this is more than a console. You know, yeah, you can sideload Steam and Epic on here. PC games right in your living room. That'll be a selling point to people. They'll say, hey, that... I'm like, right, yeah, my friends talk about that all the time. They talk about how great Steam is. They talk about how great the games are, you know? And now I can just hook it up in my living room. Hit the button on my controller. Bing, I'm in. Like, I think that'll be a selling point. Now, I don't think that changes the landscape of hardware. I don't think that changes the lead that PlayStation has and Nintendo has. But I think it puts Xbox in a position to be marketed as sort of the all-in-one ecosystem, which is in line with their other branding. You know, don't need a console. Game Pass, cloud, like... It's just one more way for them to say, yes, come in here. We have all this great stuff. You know, it's not this closed system box anymore. It's an access point. That'd be the best thing in the world if Xbox could pull that off, have a Steam store inside the Xbox. That's the only way I would ever play PC games. I would really like that. I really, really would. I've got a rig in my living room, and I just don't want to mess with it. I just don't like. I would have loved to have been able to like be grinding Hades 2 when it came out. I don't want to come in here and do it. I don't want to come in here and play. I literally was just watching Mutahar, Some Ordinary Gamers. Mutahar said the same thing. He's got all these handhelds, and he was like, I don't want to come in here and sit and play games. And I was like, I agree with you, Does Concord compete for same players as COD though? Bring the Concord discussion to the Concord stream, guys. If you've got points and questions and thoughts that you want to bring, that's in about 30 minutes. D-Tom says, if you're behind in PlayStation games, you could have paid $99 for the entire catalog 6 months ago. Probably the best deal in gaming if you're behind in games. A small form factor PC? Basically, yes. I think it's going to be a box. I think they're literally going to shape it like a box. And they might even call it they'll just call it the Xbox. You just go in and say, yeah, I want to get the Xbox. I think they're just going to call it that. I think it's been long enough. We don't need some fancy name. Series X, Series S, 1XS, X01S, blah, blah, blah. Nobody knows what the frick they're saying. No. Just the Xbox. And it'll be literally a box. You just set it there, because the current design is close to that anyway. It's basically just like a cylinder. Well, I mean, not the Series S, Series X. I meant for you, considered a small form factor PC. The one I have in there is pretty small, Zuby. I literally, I don't know what it is. There's just this mental hang up. I'm like, yeah. I got to turn it on. I got to open up Steam. I got to use my wireless mouse. I got to, okay. And then my controller, I got a cord going across the floor. I'll just play something else. It's like literally I am that guy. I hate technology guy. I don't know what happened last night. I hope my TV's not going bad. The TV that you guys bought me, the Ethernet cable, it was like there was something wrong. I would plug it in, it would pop up in the corner, and it would say, Ethernet cable plugged in. I would run a test, because it said it couldn't access the internet. I would run a test, and it would say, the Ethernet cable's not plugged in, and I was like, what? So, the Ethernet cable I was using seconds ago on my PlayStation, I just plugged it into the back of the TV. Same router. It has internet access. My internet wasn't down. And it would be like, bing, your Ethernet cable's plugged in. I'm like, okay, good. Internet wouldn't work. I'd go to run a test and it would say, your Ethernet cable's not plugged in. It's late. I'm grumpy. I've been in the car all day. I'm just trying to sit down, have a drink, eat some popcorn, and watch some, Hitchcock. And so I just put it on Wi-Fi. Firmware update available. It did some kind of an update once it was on Wi-Fi, so that might have been it. Cryptopsy. Force of Will with a 5 bomb takes us to 114. Thank you so much. You guys are well on your way. We want 500 members this week. I'll play a scary game on Friday night with Madam, and we'll have a stretch goal. She can mess with me. You got to average 100 members a day. You guys have done more than that, and you can keep going. Every 25, I give 5. I've already gifted 20 members. Thank you guys so much. Did you just hit your mic? Did I hit my mic? I might have lightly bumped it. Did I bump it with my face or something? Nobody else in chat saying anything. Will Steam and Epic allow side loading? I don't see why they wouldn't. Why would they? Why would they care? You just enter into a royalty agreement with Xbox. That's just more people that can buy games on Steam. Yo, it's good, Diaz. Have you played a game called Amnesia: The Dark Descent? No, I have not. Just realized I got to get the membership. Thank you. Appreciate whoever blessed me. Good to see you, Kellen. They should name the next Xbox the PS7. Get in while the PS marketing's hot. My Comcast internet does it all the time. I think it's an update because it comes back in like 2 to 3 minutes. It's weird because I just hopped on Wi-Fi and everything was fine, so. I'm PC only, but I might get an Xbox if it had side loading. I think it would be great. I mean, there's a lot of people that have speculated it would also be like a hybrid handheld or something. I don't know where I land on this anymore. I feel like they would do both. I feel like they would do like this cube, side-loading PC thing for your living room. I feel like they would also sell their own handheld. I don't feel like the device itself would do both. They have no reason to not allow side-loading. That's just more free money and customers. Yeah. If they're currently not booting up a PC and buying on Steam, then, doesn't make sense to sideload to me. The whole point of a console is the 30% cut. Why bother if you don't get it? I think they would negotiate a deal with Steam. It would be a lower cut, but there'd be a cut, maybe 10% instead of 30%, because Steam right now boots up on a Windows PC and Microsoft doesn't get a cut. But I think if they do like this console thing, I think they would negotiate some type of a cut. There'll be both if they do make one. Yeah, Mo, I don't think... for a while, I thought it was going to be like a hybrid, but the more we've heard, the more I'm like, no, I think they'll create two devices. They'll have a device for your living room that is essentially more than a console, sideload PC stuff, and then there'll be a handheld. I think they'll be completely separate. I'd feel less silly playing $2 indies on an Xbox than on a monster rig. There's something about that, isn't there, Zuby? You're like, yeah, dude, I got my RGBs synced up. I got my 4090. I got the strongest CPU in the market. What are you playing? Oh, it's this little pixel game. You move this little cloud around and eat other clouds. It's awesome. It's like $1. I can't stop playing it. Like, what? Why aren't you playing Half-Life 3? Hey, the sore subject. To attract more people to their hardware, you still buy Xbox games or Game Pass through Xbox's services, not Steam's. For sure. For sure, Solemn. But from Steam's perspective, if it's basically just a PC, why are we giving you a cut? Why are we giving you a cut? And it's like, well, we're opening you up to a new, consumer base. We're opening you up to a new consumer base. And because we're opening you up to that new consumer base, our consumer base, we're bringing you to our customers. We would like a cut. I don't think they would be able to negotiate the 30%, though. I think they'd have to be a lower cut. I think Steam would say, we're not giving you 30%. We don't really need you. Your console footprint's not that big to begin with. We'll give you a 10% cut. Again, that's just my speculation. That's how I would see that going. I would see Steam saying, yeah, no, we don't have a reason to do that. And Force of Will with a 10 bomb puts us on the doorstep of 125. Thank you so much. So generous. If you guys upgrade to Member Plus or VIP, that counts in the total. Every month, if you're on Member Plus or VIP and you renew and you celebrate it in chat, we add that to the total. So now it's not just the gifting that helps. You help every month. That point was brought up in a member stream, and I thought it was a fair made point. I was like, yeah, when you guys convert to paying members, you guys should be helping the total too. My son got me hooked on TD6 Monkey vs. Balloon. Some games are so addictive. Yeah, I'm really, really hooked on Brotato right now. Big time. That was in response to someone asking why they would do it if not for the cut. Even without the cut, that still brings people to Xbox's ecosystem. Oh, I see what you're saying. Enzian, what's good, man? I was out for a week. That's a really good reason to be a member, be in the member streams, and be in the Discord. You won't miss those announcements. Force of Will walks it all the way to 125. all by themselves and takes us to 125 out of 125. I owe you 5. Thank you so much for doing that. Yo, what's good, Detective C's? It's college football day. It is. I'm happy for the people that have been waiting. Have a ball. That's not my bag. I don't play sports games. I just don't. Not since Tecmo Super Bowl. Addictive is what I call candy, but I want a steak dinner. At this point, I don't trust Xbox with making paper towels. They'll find a way to mess that up. I mean, they have a lot of studios under their umbrella. And a 10 bomb from MASH takes us to 135, blasting us past where we were. A strong start. The member count dipped while I was gone. It's probably the lowest it's been in a really long time, and we're surging back. Thank you so much. You're hooked on the first Descendant. My kids like the first Descendant. They really do. I tell them they have to skip the cutscenes because it gets a little spooky, gets a little dark, you know. And my son just goes on missions. He shoots everything. He's crushing it. He's in there grinding. I was like, what? What level are you again? My nephew was grinding my character. So my character's way further than I was. Been waiting for this since 2007. NCAA is back. You're literally addicted to the first Descendant. Yeah, I'm seeing videos coming out about the microtransactions, and I'm like, I totally get it. I don't think anybody's wrong in their criticisms. I just know my kids have played and a lot, and they've not once felt like they can't have a good time because they're not spending money. Now, that remains to be seen a couple of months from now for a live service game, right? Is it still enjoyable? But they're loving it. You tried it, wasn't for me. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I don't really have a strong draw to go back in because it did. The loop really, really got stale for me. Like, I was watching them play. I was like, I get it. It's fun. I was having fun. But I just didn't have this big draw to jump back in. Ghost in the Garage Gaming with the 20 bomb. One of the big boys around here. And he steps out of the shadows and takes us to 155. Unbelievable. Now that is an inadvertent setup, though. Another 20 to get to 175. Sets it up nicely. Thank you so much, Ghost in the Garage Gaming. If you guys just got a gifted member, make sure that you say thank you to say thank you to Ghost in the Garage Gaming. There's going to be technical issues with having an Xbox running Windows. Huge performance hit. PC games need to do intrusive things for DRM that aren't normally available to console. This makes the technical aspects either require a full-blown OS with stronger hardware, pound for pound, or coordination with every PC game to strip off the DRM-specific features. Oh, yeah. It might be like maybe like a lighter version or something. Maybe not. Thank you again, Ghost in the Garage Gaming, you demand. I owe you guys. Yeah, I owe you guys another 5. Hang on. Will I cover Rivals? I mean, I don't know. I don't really play PvP games. Like, I'm talking Concord today, and I played it off stream. We probably would have played it on Friday. Right? Friday at 1? We probably would have played it if I was in town. We'll see. We'll see. Because I think Marvel Rivals is going to be... I think it's going to be very popular, personally. Not because I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to play it. I just look at it and I'm like, yeah, that'll be pretty popular. 13 months from Algorn, 20 a month plus 30 plus studios, employees, salaries, other costs. What number do you think they'll get it all going? What are you talking about? Are you talking about 20 a month times 30 plus studios, employee salaries, and other costs equals what number do they need to get it all going? Oh, you're talking about like subservice. Yeah, I don't know. Algarian. I'm not. Algarian. I'm not sure how to say your name. Yo, it's good, Crafty. The slide load Steam through cloud like NVIDIA GeForce sounds easy enough. Just make the service for it use existing ones. What are you going to do now then? Back to Elden Ring, Tilu 2? Oh, in my own time? I don't know. I don't know what I'm in the mood for. I'm really in the mood for... I got a hankering for Brotato and Vampire Survivors. I kind of caught the itch. Like, that's kind of what I'm doing when I got a few minutes to play. My wife and I tried out Deep Rock Galactic, and we really liked it, but that was right before she went on her trip. So I kind of want to try Deep Rock Galactic again with her. I might start slowly working my way through Tilu 2. I don't really have a draw to go back into Elden Ring. I was loving it. I loved beating Mesmer, but then I'm just kind of like... I'm just in a weird spot where I'm like, I don't really know what I want to play right now, you know? I can't wait for Cult of the Lamb to get its co-op update. Brotato's going to get a co-op update this summer. You know, finish Hi-Fi. Yeah, I was enjoying Hi-Fi. I could finish Hi-Fi. I just don't know. I don't have this strong draw to play anything other than Brotato and Vampire Survivors. And Deep Rock Galactic with my wife. Like, I just love co-op games with her. Like, that's just kind of what I'm in the mood for. I've been trying the Vampire Survivors Adventures. Not being able to crutch on garlic is ticking me off. You got to invest in some of the other things that surround you. The Bible fully upgraded surrounds you really well. Santa Water does as well. But you got to get them, like, super leveled. Or they don't do nearly as well as garlic. I'm playing Elden Ring with the wrong sword for about 10 hours. It's much easier now. Your fondness of your wife is gross. She doesn't mind watching me play something like The Last of Us Part 2 because she's kind of invested in the story after watching the show. There's a good Metroidvania called Moonscars on PS Plus right now. I feel like I tried that. I feel like there was something about the controls that I didn't like in Moonscars. It might have been in early access, though, so maybe they polished it up. I think I played that in early access on Steam, and there was something about it, because I love a good Metroidvania, and there was something about it that I didn't like. You're on your second run in the DLC? Nice. I just am not in the mood to play that in the evenings right now. Like, I just literally want to chill and veg. And you kind of can't do that with Elden Ring. You got to be really dialed in. And there are times where I love that, you know? Like, every once in a while, I'll get like this hankering to be like, oh, I want to replay Sekiro right now. But then there are other times where I'm like, dude, I literally want to play the most mindless game in the world right now, you know? Which is related to the next show, you know? In 20 minutes, we're going to be talking about Concord. We're going to be asking the question, you know, is it worth buying? Because it's going to cost money. It's not free. And they're letting a lot of people play it on the beta. There's another beta coming up. And we're going to have that discussion with Kurt. I'm setting that up now. That way it can kind of sit for 20 minutes. I think sometimes when we schedule the streams and like a minute later it's live, I think that's like sometimes hurts it. .343 will only supervise development of future Halo games. I mean, I told you so. I remember talking about that. I remember telling people, I was like, I think you got to hand the reins to somebody else. I think you got to have somebody else make it. You got to get id Software in there. You know, I think 343 can be there for like consulting, but you know, that's what a lot of us said needed to happen. Wizard with a Gun, Streets of Rogue, Tunic, Death's Door, Blasphemous. Yeah, I need co-op though. You know, I need co-op. I want to play something co-op. Yeah, hold off on Concord commentary, guys. You only got to wait about 15 minutes. Morning and welcome back. What's good, Captain Toasty Buns? Good to see you. I've been getting into Enter Exit, The Gungeon, Cult of the Lamb, and Brotato. Yeah, Cult of the Lamb's getting a co-op, and so is Brotato. Brotato's getting DLC along with co-op. Yeah. They have Rotato and Vampire Survivors on mobile as well. Can keep you away from a console when you want to be around the fam. Yeah, I've tried both of those. I tried Rotato on my phone. There's something loose about it. It doesn't feel right. Like when I go to like cut back the other way, he takes like an extra step. There's a latency there that I don't like. Because it gets really, really tight. Like you've got to make like tight turns and like circle around. And there's a drift when you play Brotato on mobile. It doesn't feel right. Because I go to play it on console and it feels great. Now, maybe I could sync a DualSense with my iPhone and play, but that kind of defeats the purpose. Late to the party, my wife and I were playing Party Animals last night. She was taken aback by the price hike. Oh, of Game Pass? Yep. Who's still playing Helldivers 2? Desperately needs new content. Yeah, I got to about 80 hours in Helldivers 2, and, I got my worth out of it. They do some big update, I'll come back, I think it's a good game. It's a fun game, but we're going to talk about that with Concord. We are going to talk about that with Concord. You're definitely going to be facing similar issues, It's tough, bro. It's really tough. Tough to keep people. Trying to refresh here. Want to get the video. Why is it not letting me hide the player? Usually it lets me hide the, it's a frickin', oh, these are live streams. Maybe my extension might not work. Oh. I have an extension that lets me hide, the player. And it's not letting me do it. Maybe because they're live streams. It might only let me do it on Man, that's a bummer and a half, dude. I love being able to hide the player controls on YouTube. Yeah, I can do it on a regular video, but it's not letting me do it on live streams. Because if you like bump the mouse, the player controls pop up. It's fine. I'll just have to be careful. Concord costs $40 plus a monthly fee to maintain access. What monthly fee? Oh, you mean like you got to pay for PS Plus? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, it's got a handful of things we'll get into with Kirk here in a moment. About 10 minutes. You guys want to make a run for 200 members on the first day I'm back? Let's do it. And I'll owe you more. I've already paid up. You guys have already been crushing it. And consider Consider upgrading. If you upgrade to Member Plus or VIP, that counts in the total. It counts every month in the total. If you got a renewal, renew it and celebrate. It'll help us hit the goal. Everybody knew they were going to raise the price. Well, we could kind of bring it back here and spend the last 10 minutes kind of talking about the main subject, because we kind of went full circle. 2 hours on the topic, I think was substantial. But here's essentially what I said. I don't think the headline is the price increase for Game Pass. I think the day and date changes, that's the biggest thing. I think that's the more, alarming aspect of this. Because I think that's more of a fundamental shift and change. Then that's more of a brand shift too. It's not just like an offering shift. It feels like a brand shift, which is, I think is why more people were like, well, wait. That's why today I was essentially saying, this to me is it's not just a shift in like, oh yeah, our subservice is different. It's like, well, no, this was central to the brand. This was central to why you would sort of come to Xbox, why you would sort of stay on Xbox. And I think that's why more people were sort of alarmed by it. I don't think it's a sky is falling doomsday thing. I just think it's just the beginning. I think they're going to continue to shift and change how Game Pass is positioned. Excuse me. I don't think they would raise the price yet, even because of Call of Duty. I thought it would come later and just add more things maybe next year, so I was wrong about that. I mean, I definitely think the price increase lining up with Call of Duty, it makes perfectly good sense. It tracks. Putting one of the biggest titles of the year on a subservice. So, why is this so expensive? PlayStation just updated the prices in Turkey, and games now are $85. This is in a country with a 400 median salary. Well, but these prices have to be illegal. Prices can't be illegal. I mean, unless it's gouging and there's an investigation into gouging, but that's usually only on things like gas. You said 40 minutes? Oh, I didn't mean to say 40 minutes. Sorry. 15 minutes. 10 minutes now. 10 minutes. Sorry, Kirk. I must have been reading... I don't know what. I was probably reading the time, and it was 11:47, and I meant to say 14 minutes, and I just read the 40. I think they had a good run without raising prices. They need to make money... and they're strategically choosing when to do so. And then Eugene says likely to prevent people from taking advantage of exchange rates. It absolutely makes sense. I just didn't think that they were in a public perception position to do so with everything going on, and since they already raised the price not that long ago. Well, I think they were very, very tactical with it. Solemn. I think they were tactical with it. I think they said, hey, we just had this big game show. The showcase did very well. We announced the first Call of Duty to ever come to Game Pass. We aren't doing noon. We are doing noon. We are going live in 10 minutes. I confused myself, and instead of saying 14 minutes, I said 40. We are going live in 9 minutes. I do that sometimes. I say the wrong thing. I saw 11:47, and I meant to say hey, we're going live in 14 minutes, 13 minutes, and I accidentally said 40 minutes. Kind of happy they're raising the price of Game Pass. To me, 17 was too low for all those games. I still think 20 is too low. Wait. Are you trolling? You're glad they're raising the price of Ultimate? I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say that. Like, I've defended the price increase on games before, but I've never said, oh, I'm glad they're charging more. I've never said I'm glad. I've said it makes sense. We've been paying less for our games according to inflation. We've been paying less and getting significantly larger games. We've been getting bigger games. But I don't think I ever said, oh, I'm happy. You know. I mean, I guess if you think it's too low, you could always just send them money. Send them like an envelope, you know? Give them a tip. It has to be a troll. I almost threw my phone. It's a shareholder. Yeah, one of the members of the board. No, I'm serious. Can you explain your position? Like, I think it's one thing to be like, I'm okay with the price increase because of how much value I get. I think it's different to be like, oh, I'm actually kind of happy they're raising the price. Can you explain why would that make you happy? Like, accepting it and being like, I get so much value, I think this is fine. I think that's different than saying that you're happy about it. Like, I've said that about $70 price increase on games. I'm like, listen, I feel like I'm getting bigger and better games. I'm okay with this. But I don't think I've ever said, oh, I'm really happy to be paying more. I'm happy they're charging me more money. Your TV's behind for no reason. Yeah, I don't know what that causes that, Kirk. The one day I was literally watching a premiere. No buffering happened. And the PC, my browser got behind my mobile. I was like, what? I was like, how does that even happen? I didn't, not a single blip or buffer happened. It was really weird. $240 a year is still a good deal. Yeah, it depends on the gamer though. That's more than 3 full games a year. The average consumer only buys 1 to 3 full games a year. So I don't know. I think there are going to be people that crunch the math and say it's not a good deal anymore. I don't think it's going to be like this monsoon of people that leave Xbox and Game Pass. But I think there are going to be people that are like, dude, no. This is more than buying 3 full price $70 games a year. And they're like, I typically only play 1 to 3 big new games a year. I don't need this anymore. I can spend my $240 elsewhere or differently and get equal or better value. Jesse's echoing what I just said. $248 a year is massive. That's 3 brand new AAA games and some indies, and you get to keep those. Oh, we on Triangulum. I hate this song. If you wait for sales, you can get 7 to 10 AAA games in a year and actually keep them. Yeah. I'm here to tell you, dude. I think there are going to be people that come to that conclusion. I think there are. They're going to be like, dude, this isn't the deal that it used to be. You know? Again, I don't think it's a sky is falling doomsday scenario, but I do think there's going to be people that are like, I could spend my $240 another way. Regardless of it being a good deal in a vacuum, the average person easily thinks twice before spending that much money. Both the yearly amount and the monthly on a single subscription. For sure. Like, you also have to consider how people right now are viewing price increases. They're probably getting tired of it. Like, every time they turn around, Disney's emailing them, Netflix is emailing them, Hulu. It's like everybody's doing it. And if Xbox turns around and does it and also says, oh yeah, by the way, if you leave and come back, you don't get day and date. You'll have to sign up for the higher, tier. It feels like we've tipped into territory where Game Pass is no longer the best value in gaming for most people. I don't know if I would say for most people. I would say it's no longer the obvious claim. You used to just be able to say it's the best value, it's the best value, it's the best value. Now it's like, well, it might be, depending on the person. You know what I mean? Like, I do that with PS Plus. I'm like, PS Plus is incredible value depending on the person. This is, I think Game Pass is becoming more contextually valuable than it used to be. It used to just be just a slam dunk, the best value in gaming, no question. Yo, what's good, Kurt?
I've never had that happen before.
What happened?
I just have you on my TV since I work from home. And if I would have paused it, I would have understood, but I was like backed out. Like I was in my subscription feed, and then I just tapped on your live, and it just puts me in 30 minutes behind. So I'm thinking you're basically telegraphing that we're gonna go live at 12:30, and I'm chatting on my phone, like reacting to the television. And then I was reading chat, and I was like, they're not. It doesn't sound like they're chatting with what's going on right now. So I figured it out that I was behind, but I was like,
oh,
what is happening?
I thought I misspoke.
No, like, did I you said that 40 minutes before noon.
Oh.
And I was like, did him and Creature have a conversation where they were like, that we want to move it to 12:30? Because y'all would be doing that type of thing and then not telling me. I swear.
I would.
But no, I was 30 minutes behind on my television, but it wasn't like I had paused the live. I just clicked on it and it put me behind for some reason.
Did we not do a Concord show before? I thought we did.
God,
yeah.
We talked it, but I don't think we like talked it. Maybe it was like a live service show.
No, we didn't.
Or no. Did we do state of play? Did we do state of play reactions, and that was the major focal point of the state of play?
Maybe I didn't tell Creature because I thought I already had one.
You talking about B-roll? I gave you some B-roll.
No. The framing.
Oh, okay.
I can use this one. I'll just have to recrop us.
Chat, how's my my mic? Because I set up kind of fast today. We don't want any mic problems.
Well, you just like talked quieter for that.
Okay. Well, that would mess it up, wouldn't it?
I think I have you a little low. I can boost you. The reason you were loud that one time is I used OBS. I have to add gain sometimes because the frickin'
I was loud last time too, though. So maybe don't crank it up. I'll probably talk louder than I anticipate anyway.
What was that? That guy's had he's had his account for 10 years. He was really angry. He was saying to boycott Xbox. He was very irritated. All caps.
All caps, baby.
All caps. He's serious. He really meant it. Okay. Let's see here. What's the other? There we go. Let me bring the gameplay down in. There we go.
Oh, that thumbnail is awesome. Oh, that video's gonna crush Lono. That thumbnail is sick.
Oh, the one for today?
That looks so good. Yeah.
Is it worth buying?
Oh, that's gonna crush. Some of y'all's thumbnails, I'm like,
they're bad, or you're saying they're good?
Yeah. I don't know. Y'all be choosing like. So it used to be so crisp, like the Skull and Bones thumbnail that you did. It was like all like that, like gold color, and it all matched like the text and the bordering and everything. And it was like so pristine. It was super clean. And then like some ones, it's just like the text is yellow and the border's like aquamarine, and it doesn't work.
Well, for the live streams, I always use yellow as like the focal text, and then
yeah, that doesn't work. Half the time.
Creature gets really big into making sure all the colors match. I don't, because I'm trying to punch people in the eyeball so they click.
Yeah, we did that one where it was like, is it another Redfall? And Redfall was yellow, and it was just like, like it didn't look right.
Right.
Like Redfall has to be red.
Yeah, I don't think CTR.
Non-negotiable.
I don't think CTR is affected by like the art direction of the thumbnail. I think if it pops, like
it totally is. That's why when Creature gives me crap about my like IGN framing, I'm like, I don't care what you have to say. I'm sorry.
No, I don't. He and I don't necessarily see eye to eye on that. I think like making sure every single thing matches certainly makes it look appealing and nice, but then it can also look almost too. It almost looks corporate. It's like, is this a sponsored video? Is this like an official video? It's like,
well, he wants to get like the same people watching every time, but it's like you still have to be aware that like, you know, people are going to click on your Xbox news video today because it says Xbox news, you know, like it's going to attract some people and they're going to be like, oh, what's this guy's thing? Like, what's he about? My lighting does not look good and I want to fix it. I don't know how to do that.
all right, guys, you can talk to Kirk for a minute or two. I'm going to stretch my legs, use the restroom. We're going to come back. Take a quick second and smash the like button. Let's try to hit 400 likes before we switch gears, and then we can keep the members going as well. Renewals on Plus and VIP count, and I will be right back.
What's going on, guys? I like to punch people in the eyeballs. It says Lono, nice. How was everything, guys? Camera looks good, mic looks good. Kind of rushed today. Going on, boycott. Probably move those. Who's my main in Concord? Good question. I really like Linux, and I like the variant of Teo that I unlocked, and I like Duchess a lot. What's up, Kevin? I do like football. I was thinking about doing a review of college football, but like I think the hype and the appetite for that game, like people are so rabid for that game. I just don't think I could get a review out fast enough. Like creators are going to be on that game like immediately. I just don't think that anybody cares. Like I don't think that anybody's looking for a review of that game. Like they're just like, yeah, I'm playing it. Like I don't care. So I don't usually like to do content. I don't like to do reviews when there's not like a demand or like a need for it. Like if it's not going to be like useful to people. That's why I wanted to do first Descendant, because like I'd spent a lot of time with it, and people would probably actually be curious, like, do I want to invest time in this game? Same thing for Concord. I'll probably do a review for Concord. Yeah, a lot of people like that character. That character feels good to play. That's one of their better like character designs in terms of like how she works, like how she plays, I would say. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited about college football. I don't know if I want to buy it immediately or if I just want to mess with the trial. If I want to do a review video on it. I'm still sort of figuring that out. I don't even know when the trial goes live. Do I think Firewall will close their studio? No, I don't think so. All indications are that college football is going to be a good game. This doesn't look like my camera is right. I think that's more centered. Not positive. Yeah, that's a little better. Yeah, Ultimate Team will be problematic as always. I have a review for Madden 24 on my channel. It really shows that I've gotten better at reviews because it's like 17 minutes long. It's a bit rough, but I gave a lot of analysis of that game, so I would assume that some of those problems will bleed over, but it seems like they're doing a lot of new stuff for NCAA. So we're happy about that, obviously. We are happy about that. Do we want the ring light? I don't know. My lighting's weird today. Overwatch Lite, huh? I feel like it feels like a cross between Overwatch and Call of Duty, actually. Yeah, the ring light is better. Passos over ultimates? It's definitely an interesting switch up.
Oh. Sorry. Wife was in the shower. Kids needed help with lunch.
All good.
All right. Let's see.
I think that's the first time I've missed your call.
Yeah, it was. I was like, uh-oh. He's not here.
Well, people in chat were saying he must be trolling or something, and that's what made me realize. I was like, oh, something's up.
No, there was a guy saying he was happy they raised the prices, and they were like, this guy must be trolling.
Okay. Because I posted in there like twice. I was like, did you say 40 minutes?
Well, and I responded, and then you asked again, and I was like,
yeah.
Because
I was 40 minutes behind, so
that'll
past you had no idea that I was talking to you. Yeah. Good stuff. Well, you got a lot of Concord questions today in the stream, so people are obviously they want to know. They want to know what's going on with this.
Doesn't feel like Destiny at all. I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong. All right. Anyway,
It doesn't. So at all is hyperbolic, but like in terms of gunplay, there's only a few characters where I'd really be like, oh, this is classic Destiny, and then everybody else is like, nah.
I'll explain. I'll explain what I mean in the show, guys.
Sure, the way that the match plays out is very Destiny.
Guys, there's a link in chat. There is a link in chat. Click that link, and when you guys get over there, man, go crazy on that like button. It really does help out the videos, and it's totally free. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to get started. Thanks so much for checking out this video. Once a week, I sit down, typically on Monday, to talk with my man Kirk from What's New Video Games, and we're talking Concord. Concord beta impressions. We did quite a bit of Concord gameplay over the weekend. Not just me. My nephews played. My son played. And I played as well. Going to try to give you that feedback. Is this game worth buying? And we're going to stress on the front end, you know, that it is fun. But we are, I think we're going to get a little bit critical in here. I'm going to end the previous stream that was about the Game Pass changes. And I'm going to bring everybody over with redirect. So thank you guys so much for supporting the first show of the day over there. Make sure as you come over for the new show,